In this episode, we sit down with Alan Blair and Oli Davies from Nash Tackle. Both Alan and Oli are instrumental players at Nash and have helped to propel the brand into one of the most recognisable in the carp fishing game globally. It comes as no surprise that Andy is a proper fanboy in this episode. Hit the like button, leave a comment, and remember to subscribe to the podcast. Let's dive in.
Welcome to another episode of the Tuna Gear podcast. This one I am buzzing for. I never thought we'd be able to actually pull this off. For once, Danny, I'm going to be super nice to you. You've pulled this one out of the bag for me. I did take the piss out of you quite a bit the other day because you didn't turn up to a podcast.
I'm waiting for it. Yeah,
I turned around. He didn't turn up to. I turned up to it. He didn't turn up to a podcast because apparently something had happened. So I told everyone he's having his arsehole bleached.
That was the first time. Yeah. And now this week I couldn't do another one as well because of work. So he's obviously stitched me up again.
Yeah,
so
I've stitched him up an absolute kipper again and said he had to have a procedure. So
fucking idiot.
But yeah, so today he has redeemed himself because. Sorry, no banging on the desk. I keep getting told off for doing this all the time. Yeah, it's all right, mate. Don't worry about it. We've got the Nash boys in the building, like Alan, Oli, mate. Thank you for coming down. Thank you so much. I know how busy you are. I know that you just don't do podcasts like this normally. This is, if it's SIP or if it's your own stuff, or like you said, for Martin Bowler, yeah. But for two idiots on a mic, like I can't believe he even talked you into it, to be honest.
It's
a pleasure.
It's an absolute pleasure, first of all. And secondly, yeah, we'll happily sit and chat with anyone about fishing. No problem.
It's ace, isn't it?
It is ace. And thanks for having us. He's super professional as well. I did not expect to be walking into this morning. Yeah. I'll be honest with you.
Great studio, lads.
Yeah,
really?
Real top notch.
We give it a go. We wanted to go, like we were talking earlier over breakfast, I wanted to do that big brand mentality straight off the bat. Yeah. Let's not worry about the money. Let's just go bang. And try and do things properly. Instead, everyone thinks they're going to walk into a couple of iPhones sat there.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah. Well, you wouldn't if you don't see all this
that's
stuff.
That's what we're used to.
It works, though, doesn't it? It works. So that everyone will know you as Nash, but there's so much more to your fishing than that, isn't there? Like you boys are bouncing around down here doing lure fishing at the moment.
We like fishing.
We love fishing.
Yeah, we're definitely bracketed as carp anglers because of the brand we work for, which is completely understandable. And the majority of the fishing we do is carp fishing.
But I would say,
and love it.
Probably neither of us are carp anglers.
Nah,
in the slightest.
I like that. So I like that because
And in a traditional carp
fisherman's fisherman at the end of the day,
but we're not.
You'll not rock up 3 rods out on the spot over the top, sit there for 3 days waiting for a fish. Especially you, and even work. You bow around all over the place.
The mad thing is that what you described there, I actually really enjoy it. I do like doing that. I think that's a wicked aspect of angling, you know, the precision, the accuracy, the technicalities in being able to cast a particular range, and I like the baiting, and I love it when it comes together and you get the bite and then you get another bite and you're bouncing off your pal and you're netting his fish, but I'd only want to do it a few times a year.
Yeah, 100%.
That for me is a fantastic, amazing aspect of carp fishing, but it's not something I personally would want to repeat.
No, of course. No,
I don't think it's something that Nash, like with the scope range, with the bushwhacker, with that sort of the whole style of fishing that seems to come out of Nash, it seems more about where, like the journey of where you're going, sneaking them out, being really mobile all the time. It's not.
Yeah. We try and cover all bases, don't we?
Do you know what? We try, but we're not very good at it. You know,
do you know what I'll say? As a non-carp angler, and I've never fished for carp really, other than a bit of fly. I know Nash quite well. I've followed you guys kind of sporadically, but as an attractant, as a lure angler, predator angler from flying lure, tropical stuff, I like what you guys do. If I was gonna carp, it would be your brand, the way you do it. That's what I would do. If that makes sense to you,
and how we got here, we got here because boss man Kevin, he fucking loved carp fishing, so he created an entire brand around what he loved. Saw these gaps in the market, like there wasn't any gear, then there was more gear, and then
the retainer slings,
for example, starting with the sack, and just not having something and then creating it to make it fishing a boat. But for us, we entered the industry; it was all done. Do you know what I mean? There was already bed chairs, there was already rods, there was already reels, there was already boilies, etc. So we had to just kind of continue that. But I think when we had him as our boss, sort of oozing that innovation or...
It was Kev's watchword. It's what, for him, set Nash apart from the other companies. We didn't copy other people's.
Be yourself, boys. Like, be you.
You've nailed it. I would always say, I don't see what you do is... I always see you guys as being, that's Nash's thing, and see brands. I'm not shitting on other brands, but I'd see the other brands kind of filtering behind because I always thought of that sort of stuff as Nash.
Here's an interesting question: would we have produced a retractable rod had another company come up with the concept? Because now every single manufacturer,
of course,
we
sell
another two
to
added to the pile this month from. To other companies, so every single major kart manufacturer has kind of.
But it's a compliment to be copied, though, isn't
Absolutely.
it? Absolutely. But those scopes, it's scopes. It doesn't matter who brings them to the range now. Scopes are it. You know, I remember when they first landed, I got the first 10-foots that came out. Then I went to the first Black Ops that came out. Then you brought the next range of Black Ops out, so I went to those.
I kind of cut
Then the 6-foots come out. When you brought out, I've only got the Mark 1 6-foot sawn-offs because my dad bought me in for my birthday. So when the second ones come out, I was like, plus I had 2 Belgian 40-pounders on them. How can I put those away and go to another set of rods? They're sat out there in a bag at the moment. I love them rods, man. I don't even get my 10-foots out of a bag. They're sat in a storage container. If I'm going to go fishing, 6-foots, fit in an unhooking mat, rucksack on the back, bang, gone.
It's funny, isn't it? Because telescopic rods are always, you use them for sea fishing. I
wouldn't class them as telescopic, though. The way that it comes out the butt, it's strong. Everyone thinks of a telescopic rod as being really creaky and...
They've got a stigma around them for sure, definitely.
Yeah.
And certainly for the first 12 months when we launched them, that word was getting bandied around. Much more so within the trade.
A lot longer than 12 months.
Do you think that was like a derogatory thing, though? Because people have thought, I wish we had done that.
No, absolutely, definitely not. Because
Do you think that's they just don't like change?
Yeah, no one likes change. It took 5 years, really, before the first person decided, hang on a minute, they might be having it off here, which for me, I think is a little bit bad or poor show on their part, because if they were really in tune with shops and other brands and how well somewhat things are going, it should have been jumped on much quicker, in my opinion. It took a long time before everyone. And that's because I think a lot of people were laughing at us. I really do. I know they were.
Was there a hesitation within the brand to do it?
Within internal staff, 100%.
Yeah.
For me and Kevin, absolutely not.
You always believed in it.
I believed in it from the moment me and Kev sat talking about it on the bank fishing, and he's gone, I think, because we're fighting at this lake with all the brambles, and we had to put the waders on and wade onto islands, all like poaching, and every day, like, he'd be getting his like 12-foot rods caught in the things, and and he just come up with it. He's like, I'm going to shorten the rod again. Like, because we'd both fished. He certainly had a period of his life fishing with short rods already.
He used a jungle stick, or one-piece jungle stick for his fishing, but it's not the ideal. What he did with the scope, unwittingly, was he created the perfect carp fishing rod with a powerful butt and a soft tip.
Yeah, because they are tippy.
Made it more compact, made it easier, because at this point, we certainly didn't have power barrows. You know, at this point, I was using a barrow, Kev wouldn't. Kev was like, big rucksack on, rods on, unhooking mat, bed chair on my shoulder, and everything was a walk, you know.
Super stubborn, Kev. Like,
little bit stubborn,
but
also
led to the creation of that concept, for sure.
In this situation, you couldn't use a barrow. You can't barrow across water onto an island and then onto... It was a case of... So he was the master of... Number one, going fishing. He was just fishing all the time, dragging me out of the office. Now we're doing 3 nights this week. Yeah, but Kev, I've got loads of work to do. No, we're going fishing. So he's fishing all the time. And while he's fishing, he's just tick, 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 tick.
The product is literally a product of the environment you're fishing in.
Correct. Nothing contrived. No one sat down. Shit, we're struggling. Whoa, we need a new product.
A gimmicky.
No. Or what can we do? Oh, let's short
very
rods.
much problem solving.
Very
much problem solving. Can't get them feeding on the top. Riser pellet, prime example, gets a bit tricky on the surface.
Can't catch them on a normal dog biscuit anymore, and that's Kev's mind. And so he taught me all that, and then that just went across the whole brand. So where the brand is now, super proud that we just kind of love fishing. So we have to make some fishing tackle to be able to pay 200 staff. And as long as
is that what it's at?
Yeah, it's big now. It's massive. As long as we can do that, we go fishing.
No.
And then from the fishing, it's like a cycle. If we can get out fishing enough and be buzzed and in the right environment, then the good things come again. The product, the creative video ideas, the whatever it is but it's that fishing part that's.
I mean,
core to the brand.
It's core, man. It's crucial.
That's what I've done with Tuna Gear. Sorry, mate.
Yeah, no, it's all right. No, I was going to say, but it's like a family thing as well. Certainly, when I joined Nash, it's grown a lot since then. But
it's becoming more corporate now.
It was a family
scale,
family brand, and still is. Kev, like, I know, takes great pride in providing a living to all these people. You know,
I see your Christmas parties and stuff. Like when you're all, we're going to do one based off what you've done. I'm gonna have all the boys. I was talking about the WhatsApp group that we all fish together.
Yeah.
Same sort of thing. With Tuna Gear, I'm putting all the lads that just buzz off of going fishing. Like, I hate politics and drama. Just the boys that buzz are just, here you go, have the gear. You know, we're down at the Falmouth competition. All you could see, there's all these other charter boats down there. All you could see was Tuna Gear hoodies.
Good, man.
I've got a picture through a pub window of the lads lined up at the bar, just with the big squid circle. And it's just ping, 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 ping. It's my favourite photo.
Yeah.
Like, who cares about the exposure we got down there?
Spreading the love. That's what you're doing.
Squid in the love.
Spreading the love.
Squid in the love.
Spreading your ink.
Yeah, that's the one. But we're going to do the Christmas party out here and do a massive podcast about it, do the Secret Santa, do all that sort of stuff. That's what I love about your brand. Like, that way, it's all the boys just seem happy to be with each other all the time, fishing.
Yeah,
especially the Nash trips away and stuff like that. They look ace, they do.
Love fishing. We all love fishing.
I think, just to reiterate that point, it is that word, it's fishing.
Yeah, cool.
It's the carrot that Kev would dangle for me, and I went on to then dangle for so many others. Look, if you work really hard this week, we're going on this mental adventure next week. Do you know what I mean? And you just keep that.
Fascinating.
How did you end up at Nash then? How did that happen?
I was teaching, so I was lecturing at college fisheries management. And
to go spar show?
No, I never actually studied it. I studied horticulture and countryside management. There was only spar show when I was of that age, and it was a bit far, and it was different back then. So I did this 3 years teaching. A lot of that involved work experience modules, and I'd take large groups over to France, to Kevin's Lake, and then got to know Kev and started working for him, and met you pretty quickly afterwards, didn't I?
You were doing some marketing. I was working for Advanced Carp Fishing magazine, and
you poached him.
Literally,
yeah. It's just a tiny industry.
He was fishing, and Kev's come down the office. He's like, right, you need to go up there now and meet that lad. Like, why, Kev? I've got loads to do. He's fucking using trout flies as zigs, and he's catching them. Go up and talk to him. So I've gone out there. There's Oli in his Air Max and that. Like, and we've had a chat. He likes the drums. I like the drums.
Yeah.
Here we go. and back then, like when I joined, like I say, it wasn't too long after I joined. We were talking a really small company. You're talking like 30 people, maybe. Maybe only one or two in Europe, and then the rest on a small farm. And we operated out of this little farm, and the 40-foot lorries would come 2 or 3 times a day. We flipped. Everyone did everything. Like if I all come in and that, but it's like getting towards the end of the month, we got targets to it or whatever. Like I'd go and pack boxes for 3 days. Kev would be packing boxes.
Yeah, all of us.
It was a huge team effort. Like we'd go and do shows. I spent my life just driving around in long wheelbase sprinters, overweight, like
driving overweight,
Croatia, Germany,
Europe,
Italy, like just.
You setting up the show.
I really enjoyed the Nash
lockdown
lockdown podcast you did where they interviewed you.
The lives.
You did and because I said as a non-carper, obviously I knew who you were. I'd seen you at trade shows and whatnot, but I really enjoyed actually learning a bit about the shenanigans of you that free part interviews you did, and actually learning about the brand and hearing the names, and I found that fascinating. And it actually was, as a non-carper, to sit down and because they were like hour-long episodes, to sit there and be like, actually, I found it really, really interesting. Like so
the brand, interestingly, I have mentioned this, but just in case anyone's listening, I once famously said I'd never work for Nash Tackle in front of a big cohort of students doing a careers talk with them. You were going to go to.
Did you?
Yeah. And I mention it because it has. It has context to what we were discussing a minute ago, that I kind of made that statement because I believed it, and back then, I fished with a lot of Fox. He was using a lot of Drennan. I'd used Nash boilies and stuff, but it weren't the brand for me. Like you've got this Tuna Gear brand now, and you're creating something, and you're passionate about it, and you believe in it, and you've got a vision, and it just wasn't the brand for me, Nash, back then. I knew about it, its heritage, and, it was one of the established. I was working in the tackle shop, so we sold it, but I chose not to buy any of it, and it wasn't. So I made this thing, and then quite ironic, really, like
become the face of it.
But interestingly, when I was interviewed, Kev also he grilled me for a couple of hours, and he asked me a few poignant questions. One of them was, "What are you going to be doing in 5 years' time?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'll be working for myself. You know, I've got this plan to do." And I didn't have a plan, but I just knew I was going to do. And what Kev gave me really quickly was the opportunity to work for myself. Like complete freedom. You know, he'd shout at me a lot and he'd mentor me a lot and he'd tell me all the times he's fucked it up and all the times he's got it wrong. But after that advice and guidance, it was like, now go and you decide what you're going to do. You're going to spend 200 grand on print magazines this year, or are you going to invest 50 grand of that into a new show? And I just had complete freedom because he didn't really know how to do it either. He'd come from a world where, yes, he could have these innovative ideas and develop the gear in that, but we were talking about the China boom, we're talking about changing the retail landscape, we're talking about social media appearing, YouTube coming on the scene, and Europe blowing up, mate, for carp fishing. They stopped eating them all. Do you know what I mean? The Polish were now like not eating them, they want to catch them and release them.
Yeah, fair play.
And we kind of view, Ollie, I'm not just talking me, I'll use me as an example, but all of the staff were given the freedom to go and find our way within the industry and grow the brand to how we wanted to grow the brand. You know, Kev was the godfather. He still is the fucking godfather. But rarely will Kev come in now and go, oh, I don't like that third colour you've used in the camo, or, do you know what I mean? We go and make
absolute freedom.
Right?
How involved is Kev still? Does he come in oversee, or is he just living his best life?
If Ollie's in, he'll absolutely come down and spend 2 hours sitting talking with you.
But you the favourite?
No. Do you know what? When we work together, we've got a much better relationship now. Kev and I are both stubborn, and we used to clash quite a lot. Yeah.
Because he'll stand up for himself.
If I thought that he was making a mistake or doing something or saying something that wasn't good for, didn't paint him in a good light, I'd tell him that. It was my job.
Okay.
I said it's my job to make sure.
Respects that, man.
In terms of media production. Things were changing. The climate was changing very quickly. The way that we film fishing was changing. So we had to. It was hard for him to take a step back, wasn't it? From being involved.
It's hard for me now. What we're 2024, and there's 200 people now, and it's hard for me now because it's a corporate. But we've got a HR department.
Can we just quickly?
It's not a bit of Alan.
Can we just quickly say then? Can we just quickly say then, what officially are your positions in the company right now?
What is your position?
Go on, because I know.
What are you? Who are you? Who even are you, Alan?
Who are you, Alan?
They keep me at arm's length because I'm a liability in this corporate environment.
But you've got absolute freedom within that corporate life.
Neither of us are corporate characters. This is the problem. We both operate outside the realms of corporate responsibility and accountability.
I am still immensely involved in the business. Love it.
Essential, integral.
I'm creative director, but they've given me that title because it's like, mate, you're creative director, and we can just hide you there doing creative.
Can't make you a managing director or the finance.
Can't make me.
So there's actual corporate structure, managing directors, finance directors.
I sit on the board, and then underneath the board, we've got top tier management, like a big commercial team, and in those meetings, we're talking anywhere between 12 and 14 key members of staff.
And you're sat in on those?
I'm sat in there, but I have to zip it. Don't say anything. And I just write everything down. And then I go and speak to the two lads that sit on the level with me afterwards and go, you're a fucking it's more constructive way of doing it. I'm present.
But that's real though, isn't it?
It is real, and it's been hard for me to adapt like that. I'm used to Kev, ruling with an iron fist, but fair, super fair boss with a clear vision. Do this, let's do this today.
And making decisions coming from a fishing point of view instead from a business
perspective. You know what I mean?
They don't know nothing about fishing, do they?
And do you know what the lads have done? So Kev's son Lee and another lad Pavel, they're one Poland, one English based, both very good friends of mine. They'll take Nash now again and again, another decade. I wouldn't be able to do that. Kev wouldn't be able to do that. Kev's too old, and I'm just not. It's not for me. I want to be meeting guys like you, and I want to go to the shops, and I want to be out there living the fishing. I don't want to be caught up in 12-hour board meetings and Zoom calls.
That makes sense.
Terrible, isn't it?
And Ollie, your turn. So what's
fishing?
Do you know, it's funny. These days I am just a pro angler.
Yep.
Content creator.
Yep.
We just That sounds a bit a strange way of presenting it. Actually, this week I'm back on the buttons again. Alan and I are chasing round.
You do take some sick stuff.
Thanks, guys.
You were I would say that you were that when all this content started coming out, the fishing videos started coming out, the other brands were trying to do it as well. You look at the Nash stuff, and I won't talk about the other brands, but you look at what they're bringing out. They seem quite structured and corporate. Whereas yours was free flowing, super high end. It was amazing stuff. I loved it.
Appreciate it.
Corda are the absolute kings, you know.
In terms of the market, corporate marketing, they've always had that edge.
Corda were my inspiration, the driving factor, but at no point would I ever even remotely think, how can I be more like Corda? How can I do it like Corda? It was just inspirational.
Yeah.
They were out there with big teams, with good anglers on good venues, making good... Didn't want to do it, but it was inspiring.
Absolutely agree. We live in a parallel universe, you know, but our paths aren't. Our objectives and our marketing strategies are not the same. Both of us, I hope, respect the work of the other. Certainly,
100%.
They come across as a very corporate brand from top to bottom, don't they? And even the videos seem to have that corporate structure into it.
They're very Corda.
I find yours.
They're very Corda. I'd rather say that than corporate because I think what they do is 10-10 the bollocks. Like it's just how they do it, and I think I know from my own self, like. If I'd have gone, oh shit, I need to make a video for Nash today, I know I'll go to Brasenose and I'll fish 3 different rigs and I'll put one with a bit of corn on, one with a pink one and one with a thing. No one's really going to watch that shit. So what we did was we did just what we did. We went down the canal fishing and we went to Park Lakes and we were going over to Europe because we were in Europe so much doing these shows.
Personally,
we just started fishing.
That corduroisation, sorry, Al, to interrupt you, but It was not making fishing more accessible. It was kind of narrowing it down to 3 rods on a spot. You have to catch a 30-pounder or you haven't been successful. There was this thing about success. Oh, I didn't catch one. I was unsuccessful. And we wanted to kind of bring fishing more to the masses, to the people who have a park lake local to them, relatable fishing, who haven't got 3 days to go and sit at the lake, who've got a family. This is important for me now at the moment, you know, the way that I fish. I've been going home, not doing the nights, try and catch them during the day, to show that you don't need to have you don't need to be a full-timer. You know what I mean? Full-time angling is not full-time.
I completely got that because where I watched some of your content, we just had kids. And I was doing the whole bedtime routine because you go down to the lake at 1 o'clock in the morning and stuff like that.
Sometimes, yeah.
So I was doing the whole bedtime thing. Go to bed with the wife. She'd fall asleep. I'd get out the door. I'd sneak down to racks because I knew bite time would be between 4:30 and 7 o'clock in the morning. I'd be on some pre-baited spots to get 2 rods out. I wouldn't even a bed chair out. Put the kettle on. Sit there. I'd whittle one out, and it might be a 12-pound, but it'd be like. Racks is back in the day was in the 90s was one of but they're all real. It's a clay pit. They're all dark.
Andy,
they're all scaly.
On your terms, yeah.
My terms. I'll turn up. I'd have one, couple of pictures, leg it down to the office. My clothes are waiting for me, and I'll go out on survey stinking a bait. But that was what I got from Nash. Was I don't have to
freedom
do 3 days.
Is what you got, and it's what you guys do as well. It's freedom, isn't it? Like when you're out on the sea, you've got this. You know, Al loves sea fishing. There's no rules. There's few other anglers. Freedom.
There's no bailiffs.
I use as many rods as I want.
No bailiffs. I've talked about this loads on the podcast.
In today's world,
it's the last great bastion of freedom. You jump on a boat as soon as you're a mile offshore. Gone. Switch your phone off. There's no one sticking their head round a bivvy, right, mate? See much? I've heard that down that end of the lake. You ain't going to catch them on a white, you know, all that sort of stuff. You're out there on a boat, just doing your thing.
This is 2 important words. So freedom and relatable. And I think that goes for a lot of the stuff that we produce.
Yeah, there was nothing contrived in anything because we got no marketing expertise. It weren't like we could sit down with a team. The team was me.
But he's very keen on brand. You know, you've always been into fashion
like brands
and branding.
But what we don't know is between us, we don't know what we're doing. Like Carl, so the team is small, man. It's like me, Ollie, Carl Smith.
From media point of view, like I was never trained as a photographer. I picked up a camera when I was 29, 30. You can't train the eye. You either have the eye or you don't have the eye.
Yeah. I've said that about fishing though. You've got guys that can't catch fish as long as their ass faces down, and some guys just catch fish.
That's a great expression, by the way. Yeah.
But it's true though.
No, it is true. Well, but you can learn how to use equipment. You know, you can learn to become proficient with a camera, But to compose the shot, to know when the right moment is, that's different.
And even to edit it all into a sequence of events as well. That's
come through a little bit from working in the magazine. You learn to put a story together or a feature. So a feature. I worked with some really good guys who taught me a lot on the mags, and we worked to quite a strict formula with a beginning, a middle, and an end.
Were you DHP or Bauer?
DHP, yeah. Which is sadly kind of. I mean, it's still clinging on. But
that's my background is magazines.
Yeah,
what's that?
DHP, they're publications.
Right,
Like Bauer was is a larger media organisation, which
Bauer,
is still
big skyscraper, London, all different magazines on different floors.
DHP was a small
Family-owned.
publishing, family-owned thing, which ran 10 magazines at one point: Irish Angler, Sea Angler,
Advanced Carp, Total Carp,
Tackle Trade
pole
World,
fishing,
basically fly
Tackling
fishing,
Guns.
Yeah, so quite a big portfolio, but gradually they've fallen by the wayside. And
fortunately,
Such a
print
shame,
isn't. That's why we're glad I've got Subsurface, because they're still pumping that print out all the time.
there is a little bit. There's still Total Carp, just about, and there's still Carpology. So
But what about Sea Mag?
Yeah,
Sea Angler still about?
There's a boat one. To be honest,
You might be doing better than carp fishing than the Sea Boys. So we've only got 2 titles.
I think it all died a death. I mean, that was my background, was writing for like Total Sea Fishing, Sea Angler. And they went digital, and then that wasn't successful. They couldn't get the guys to put the marketing in.
The problem is that what happened with Nash is that a lot of the staff were poached, and the content was now created in house. So you weren't relying on the magazines or the publishers to create the content. We were doing it ourselves. We didn't need them anymore, and people start to come straight to the brand.
They do, the brand is now doing its own content creation.
But I guess that's the beauty of it, and that was something I was actually going to touch on, was you guys, like I said it again, as a non-carper, I like what you guys, the videos you do, it's very relatable, it's very enjoyable to watch, but social media, we've covered it on multiple episodes, are the breadth of social media and the use of social media. You've just nailed it in one. You don't need to go to these third parties now. Within reason, most brands that know what they're fucking doing.
You can do it in-house.
A friend of mine,
just like this.
funny enough, he's a musician, he's a beat maker, James. He's been trying to make it in the music industry for years and years and years.
Super talented.
Through Instagram, now has literally honed himself into a point so sharp that he's forced his way into and now they're coming to him for record deals, and he doesn't need them. He can monetize his own, he can promote his own stuff. He's got a big following, he's got 100,000 plus monthly Spotify listeners without being on a playlist, without being pushed.
Being independent.
So anyway, the point is that now there's room for Alan Blair, the personality, to rise above being put up there by the magazine. Do you know what I mean? You can force your way into the industry by being good enough, and a lot of the guys have. Carl and Alex Smith, prime example.
He does.
How did you find then? This more directed at you, Al. How did you find the balance then between Alan Blair and Nash, and how did that relationship between it was as in the public viewing? What was? Did you find a balance between this is Alan Blair material or Nash material? Where was the marrying in that? Was it hard, or did you find that easy? Because I imagine there was
it's a good question, and other people have asked me similar. Because you see it now, I can jump on TikTok today, and I could blow up by the morning, potentially globally. The next big. With me, it was a proper 10-year period, so there was no point where I've gone, fucking hell, look at me, I've fucking got loads of views, or I've got loads of articles in print this month, or whatever it is. It just really happened
through hard work,
a lot of hard work. And as for is there an Alan outsider? No, it's the moment I started working, everything I've ever done in life, I always put everything into it, and I started working at Nash, and I was like, well, this is my life now. This is my life. I've got a missus. She moved out. Well, what a surprise. She works at Nash. She ended up head of UK sales. So now me and Chloe are there. All my friends are there. When I was a teacher, because I was so young as a teacher, I was only 21. I took all my pals that were fishing on the fishing course I was teaching. I was like, right, you come and work at Nash. You come and work at Nash. You come and work at Nash. You
surrounded yourself by your friends and family.
So going to work, it is
ain't work at that stage.
I didn't have my social life was out of hand. I'm just partied.
I was going to say,
bouncing around the rave scene.
But it was all fishing. So everyone who I'm partying with, if it's a group of lads and the girls are there, it's all partners or wives of the boys I'm with, which are all fishermen. So the girls all know fishing. I just haven't not been around Nash and fishing. I haven't done anything, in fact, other than Nash.
To the point where
my
you've
children,
made it your base, haven't you?
Yeah, my children have grown up. They're 8 and 9 now. That's their gaff, man. The house, the lakes. They just run around. They've got quad bikes there. They do whatever. It isn't anything. It's weird, isn't it? I am like literally living and breathing.
I mean, we're girl dads, so we get it as well, you know. So,
I've got 3 daughters. Yeah, it's.
Which going back to that thing I said to you about Kev, and Kev's like, "What are you going to be doing in 5 years? I'll be working for myself." That's what I was getting at. He literally gave me the freedom. I had to prove my worth, of course, and I give him everything and more. But he's done the same backwards, and now we're at a point where it's just life. Get up. What have I got to do today? Anything to make Nash better. What have I got to do? Anything to help Nash. Just
a great mentality, actually. Like, what can I do for the company today?
Yeah, it's
Even
good.
if I just do one small thing for the company today.
It all compounds over time and builds and builds and
if your
builds.
other 200 members of staff are on that same mindset, the same.
It's an unstoppable juggernaut.
Nice,
yeah, absolutely.
So, as a kart brand, I know you boys love bouncing around, river fishing, sea fishing. Do you ever see Nash making that's what you've done with the scope range and stuff and coming across into other sectors?
You did try it, didn't you?
When I joined, they were already part way through, not a deal, but they'd already done the development for like a Dean Macy range.
Yeah.
You know, Dean, the athlete worked for Cord.
Dean's going to come down on it, aren't
Okay, Dean, top geezer. So we had this big brand, Dean Macy. It kind of flopped. And then we started another one, me and Kev, called Peg One. Mainly because of Kev's greed, I suppose. Come on, we can get another couple of mil turnover. You know, and you see gaps in the market as well.
There's
Around
a
that
gap
time,
in the market for sure. He's very astute at
you basically had
potential.
you'd had the boom of the commercial fishery for sort of 10 years, and you now had a lot of anglers sort of an age, perhaps mortgage paid, kids are out of the house, got a bit more
Disposable
time,
income.
don't want to do 7 days on a French carp venue, but they've got money. Do you know what I mean? So we come up with this chair concept. It was quite premium product, 2 different versions. You could put wheels on it. It had arms, it had layback, it had pods
Like a
that
fishing
fitted onto
station.
It had tables. And yeah, we launched that brand. I took on 5 like pro staff, we called them now. Fucking, where did that come from? 5 pro staff members. And yeah, we started to do a bit of media and that, and got it up to about £2 million, this little brand. So, and then we knocked it on the head after that. But in the future, to answer you, maybe.
If there's a big enough market.
I think there is, especially on like the lure scene with what a lot of what you do. It's doing that crossover into like what you've done with the streetwear, how carp fishing's come into that stuff you can just wear all the time, and it becomes a whole lifestyle.
I think you've got to do it right. The thing is, you've got to do it right though, because you can very easily do it. You can be the biggest brand in the world if you come in and you'll just be perceived as, oh, they've just gone in and Chinese a load of lure gear in. If you can do a
you
brand,
have to be honest with your intentions.
Of course,
integrity.
If you can do it like, and not just Nash, but any brand, if they can do it and they have their way of doing it and it's identifiable to them and it follows their kind of their path and their direction, it'll be accepted. It's when brands come in and do like, oh, we'll do a sneaky predator range and it's just a bag of shit behind the side. We get it. They're going to have guys that are going to buy it. But I know you've said that they've tried it, but I think Nash is a cool brand, and who knows what it'll be. But have you found with that, because obviously you've done a lot more multi-species stuff. So, I mean, obviously, have they ever looked at, I know you've kind of answered it in that kind of bougie way of the fancy stuff, but is there like a match scene that you looked into, or like your core stuff, and how do you find Nash finds your multi-purpose angling? Did you get a bit of hassle?
Kev used to hate it. Yeah. He used to grate on him real bad. Like, I'm going roach fishing. What the fuck are you going roach fishing for? Like, and because he is a carp angler.
He doesn't understand. And not just a carp angler, a big carp angler.
And there's a difference there. That's a really important point, what I was saying there, a big carp angler, because it still frustrates Kev. Like, we blanked last night, but the night before we caught you, we've had like 7, 8 fish between us. The biggest is probably 15 pounds, probably 14 actually, 14 pounds. When I ring Kev, and I'll speak to him later on or tomorrow, and I'll tell him, he will be so unimpressed. Like, almost disappointed in me that like it wasn't at least 30 pounds, and that's Kev's mentality. It's big carp. You're right, he's a big carp angler. So he built a brand about big carp fishing. We followed that brand through, and this is where I think we got lucky in a market that was becoming bigger and bigger and bigger, and the brands were coming. We made it acceptable continue to catch 12-pounders.
Yeah, you could go down to your local park lake, or you
Don't be
can
embarrassed about your 12-pounder.
No.
The thing is, there's some gnarly
proud of it.
12-pounders out there. You go down that park there, you go down that canal.
It's situational, it's
Sometimes it's harder to catch that 12-pounder out of a canal than it is a 30-pounder out of Brasenose.
And this is what I was not trying to teach Kev, but like Ola will back me on this, and Kev won't, if he did listen to it, he'll agree. Where we're at now, Kev and I, in the relationship, and where the business is at now with me and people like Ollie, everyone gets it. You know, we got to where we are because we did embrace a bit of roach fishing. We got to where we are because in the winter we did take the pike rods out and we did do some pike. We stayed true. You know,
I mean, that Avon video you did.
For example,
was fucking phenomenal.
I'm down in the last 2 days. Every single fish I've caught, they have been on scopes. You know, I haven't got a fucking £500 lure rod in there they're on scope rods and scope reels. I'm making it hard for myself. I know that.
You're fishing off the rocks with scopes?
Yeah, everything. Like,
You're using like the 2 3/4.
2.25.
Yeah.
9 foot.
Short 3-pounders for like the surface stuff and that. And I can hold my hand on my heart. I was out 2 weeks ago, like in Eastbourne, off everything on the scope.
I caught my first wrasse and my first bass this week.
On a scope?
On a scope. On a
Fair play.
Yeah. So it's like real legit. Will we start rushing off developing blackfish minnow lures and developing? No, we're not, because we've got a lot of work to do as a brand. Not much, not in England, you know what I mean? So, but there's a big old world in Europe.
Conquer Europe.
Yeah, there's a lot more. I don't like the word conquering, but yeah, we've got work that needs.
And the scope concept is a sound concept. The rod is a good rod.
For boat
good
fishing,
rod. For bar fishing.
for sneaking range.
Floater fishing.
Sneaking through the bushes. Because you can tuck it right up inside that butt. It's so much easier.
Some of these marks we've just been to, you're going through like tunnels of thicket. Like, you know, the last thing I want is a big long rod. I've got some little scope special snide travel editions, like samples, and they pack down to this. Do you know what I mean? You can have them down your trouser leg if you want. Who knows where the brand will go, but at the moment, no, there's no big plans to develop a sea fishing brand or a lure fishing brand or at all.
You mentioned the snides.
Yeah.
Did they take off like the Sawnoffs?
Flopped.
Because my mate was, when we were in Europe, the two of us together, I was fishing the Sawnoffs, he's fishing the snides. Because that was like a whole sort of poaching rod that you mentioned it, stick it down your trouser leg.
Yeah, the snide was in a reel, it had not a cordura, but it had like a hard-wearing 10 something fabric on the outer tube. So you had like a classy, almost fly tube that it was supplied in, and then it was a 3-piece. So it only really was any good for travelling anglers if you were actually going to go put it in a suitcase and travel somewhere. If you were here and you were like flitting down your park lake in them, the last thing you want to be doing is getting your rod out of a tube and then building your rod and then having to mount your reel on it. You know, the carp angler wants it kind of pre-done.
One thing, if you're a fisherman or an angler, you want to be fishing as quickly as possible.
I've always said that.
Something like, so I want all my rods to be made up.
Yeah,
I don't
mine
want
was
to have to
always
go
made
down the
up,
river
yeah.
and set my float rod up, which is why I have a 2-piece float rod, not a 3-piece, because I can't store a 3-piece rod. Yeah. So 3-piece rods by design, by default, are pretty much useless.
I've always said that I've got like a cardboard box.
They are, bro.
They are.
Not really. If I want to fish 15 foot, like if I want to trot with 15 foot, well,
I want it set
probably
up, though.
tomorrow.
I want a 2 7-foot pieces for that rod then.
Yeah, but then you got it
Really
would be nice if they were
I want to
2
get it
bits.
out of my van, I want to open it up, and I want to fish. I don't want to thread the eyes and... Do you know what I mean?
The worst ones are the lure rods. I don't know if you've ever had it. I fucking ended up getting stuck with a couple of 1-piece lure rods. What fucking use are they? Like, I know you've got much more better action, and
But that's an American Japanese thing.
You want to try a tuna rod
because they keep them on the boat all the time. Because the Yanks keep the bass boats on the boats.
Yeah, they
all the
don't
time.
need to pack them away.
Nothing to pack down because it
cars
just sits on the boats all the time, and that's where that's come from.
But this is the thing, that not packing it down, but being able to put it away, move, set it up, fish quickly. You know, that is.
I've done it when I've sold gear and I've gone to my little like fishing room and I've looked, and because once get that out that bag, that thing gets thrown in a fucking box. I never see it. I'll say to the guy, "Do you want the bag, mate?" And they're like, "Oh yeah, I need the bag." I'm like, "Oh, for fuck's sake, here we go." Hours later, rummaging through years of shit trying to find a little bag for a rod that I did. I mean, that's
chucked every one of my scope bags. They turn up here.
Just like,
yeah.
But some people love it. But I myself, like you, Ollie, my rods are they may be in half my like 9-footers, but they're in a rod stand ready to go. And I leave rucksack, my
with a reel on,
waders. It's sort of set up. I just fold it down. I may have a little neoprene Velcro strap on the handle to stop it flapping around, and I'm out the door. I'll be doing it tomorrow when I go out. I mean, but yeah, you do get guys that want to strip it down. I don't personally, and like you say,
see him on the bank like that, looking through the eyes.
What are you boys doing? Like, I cast out, and then you realise one eye's out the way, so you just tweak it back around once it's on the rest again. Like, yeah.
What always bugs me though is when these fucking manufacturers they put the white dots. You put the white dots together, and the fucking eyes are wonky. It's like their only fucking job. The only I'm like, oh, it does my tits in, but that's a whole nother conversation. But yeah,
quality control.
You just make me fucking laugh at that because all it takes is to put the white dot in the wrong place, and you're just back to square one again.
You're back like this again, line it all up.
They put that up. We do it on our scopes, man. We use 2 little matte black dots, but yeah, it's a good point, man. If the worker puts those in the wrong place, you just the better off.
Even when they're lined up and they're still like it's like 2 degrees off.
OCD nightmare.
But that's just silly little things like that, isn't it? You know, but it is what it is. So, I mean, how have you guys found? Obviously, not Corder. Fucking hell. Nash has got. Nash is what it is. It's such a cool brand. I think, like we said, it's relatable. How have you found with your guys like moving forward? Obviously, you like your multi-species. Ollie, obviously, I know more about Al than I do you. Obviously, I know
Ollie
you're
loves multi-species.
So with your multi-species stuff, do you still have like your yearly like buzz targets? Like I've got my targets each year. Do you have like a yearly target that you go to, or is it you just?
It's seasonal a little bit. You know, we're coming into at the end of the main carp season, and whilst you can fish for carp all year round, and particularly now we're living in a slightly warmer era by the sounds of things.
100%.
But yeah, for me, I definitely like to keep it fresh. For me, it's a time to keep motivated, and that means not slogging it out for carp, you know, to the point where you demotivate yourself to go fishing.
Yeah. Having that change, it helps.
Yeah, so and for me, it's a lot of short session angling. So barbel fishing is ideal for short session fishing. Perch fishing, I do a lot of live baiting for perch in the winter.
Some of the guys, when I said you were coming on, said, "Oh, he's fucking wicked at barbel fishing," and I was like, "Oh, I'll have a quick look then." You know, we've said it a few times. There's been a few guests where I've deliberately. Not through laziness, but I don't delve too much into who they are because I like to find out. I want to learn now. I don't want to know it all. I mean, I've watched a lot of the podcasts, obviously, I know a bit more about Al, but there's things I really like learning about people because I'm an angler at heart and I find it interesting. So, but they've all said, yeah, what you want to see is barbel stuff.
Barbel is married man's carp.
Because we don't get them down here.
Married man's carp.
Married man's carp.
So we don't have them here. We've got a few in the X, but not enough to target.
We ain't got the. Yeah,
it's a shame because in terms of like fighting species, they're up there with carp. It's really exciting fishing. The bite is violent. The fight is, they're powerful fish, and often you're fishing from in quite interesting environments, snaggy, fast-flowing water,
flood water. That adds another big.
And you don't have to sit there all day for them. No. This is a major thing. You can have your dinner with the missus,
quick wins, yeah.
Go out for 3 hours, come home, go to bed, get up for work in the morning. Anybody can do it and live a normal lifestyle. You don't have to take a week off to do it. No. Perch fishing the same. A lot of my perch fishing is based around half an hour's live bait fishing to get enough baits to do an hour's perching at dusk.
I'm moving into the perch season for me now.
Yeah,
can't wait.
Yeah, it's such an exciting thing. The bite, it's relatable for a sea angler, isn't it?
Yeah. That's River Fords. I like to do my bass fishing. Probably I bass fish 12 months of the year.
Got some good perch down here.
Yeah. I mean, some of our spots here. I mean, there are fords there. They're not stacks of them. But when they're up like this,
it's a rare beast.
You can find some good fish.
A river four and a reservoir four, totally different.
Yeah,
and when you say a river four, I'm
keen as, and my local river has got some big perch in it, and the pike anglers quite often get them by accident, and I've caught them by design. But I took probably 4 or 5 years away from it, really, with bass fishing and working and fishing. But this year, me and my friend Chris Lowe have said, right, let's smash it. Chris lives up in the Midlands. He's smashing 4-pounders. I
know Chris from social media.
Yeah, Chris is a monster, an ex-teammate. He's probably my best friend. Like, he's my ride or die in angling. We have a lot of fun.
Tricky's not going to like that comment.
But Tricky's getting into it now. He's already caught his pike. He's going to get his perch.
Politics again.
but we've said this year that my goal is Chris is already smashing it. He had surgery heavier this year, so his fishing, he's not been able to come down each week to go bassing with me, so he stayed local. He's smashing some ginormous fours. I think it was 410 the other day was his biggest from a river, like killer. But I've got
on a 7.
It's up that way, isn't it?
Thames it is, yeah. But they smash some absolute monsters. We've got some good fish here, but I've never really done the flooded water fishing. So it's kind of, I've caught thousands of big perch, but I've never done how he fishes and how he's getting these winter perch. New to me. I'm dead excited to learn it. I've been trying to get all the information, figure it out. I know the river like the back of my hand through pike fly fishing and lure fishing for them, so I kind of know where they're going to be, but I've never done it myself. And this year for me, my next goal is...
It's problem solving, Danny, isn't it?
Yeah, get down there. Like,
so you've got
I'm
a new
buzzing.
problem to solve.
I'm buzzing about it. It's a whole new thing for me. Perch fishing's perch fishing on the lures, but this is
sometimes
different.
it's discovering that when you thought they were uncatchable, it's a bit like you, Adam, with pike in a flood, isn't it? Yeah. When you thought that perhaps it wasn't the right condition for them, but it turns out you can catch them in spite of what goes on there.
They're all telling me like, no, you need to get here, Danny, because Chris comes down like every 2-3 weeks when he was well.
Enthusiastic about it. Look at him, he's all excited.
This is how he got the co-host job. I phoned him up to see if he wanted to do an interview, and he's like this on the phone. He starts getting all So I get like that about tuna fishing. He gets like that about SEO and marketing. He gets like that about this. This is what I'm surrounded by. These two, like he gets that excited in his autistic, calm down way.
It's important to surround yourself with positive people.
Yeah, man.
People that make you buzz about.
We talk about that massively. Like, I invest more in people that get excited about what we're talking about than some that just turns up and they might be better than that other person at their job. But you could have all the qualifications in the world, but if you're not buzzed about what we're doing, I'm going to take you because you're buzzed about it. And I can probably get you to do what that other person can do anyway. Yeah, I love being around.
The buzz is important. Keeping the buzz real is important. And going back to the original multi-species thing, and we do it because we buzz off it. Like,
do you have anything this year or coming?
No plans as such. Like Ollie's touched on it with regards to the thing. It's more like
I've given him a poison chalice actually.
Yeah, I haven't got the time, mate, for any target. I haven't got the time to even have a syndicate carp fishery and say like I'm going to fish here. It doesn't work like that for me, but.
I got him a ticket for a bit with some massive barbel, but it is the hardest fishing that you can do. Yeah. Very low stock, very tricky to catch, very condition dependent, and quite time intensive. As much as I said, barbel can be quite.
And I haven't got time. Yeah. And what I have to do, I learned a long time ago to maintain my happiness and my positivity, especially going back into work on a Monday morning, for example, when I'm now integrated with other staff. I need to be absolutely happy and positive. And if I've done a weekend, not singling it out, but let's say a weekend carp fishing and it's just been shit and boring, then that does not set me up well for the next week at work, So it's much more important now, like no disrespect to tomorrow, but because I've had a rough day yesterday on the sea, there is a risk that tomorrow, and I know this can be the case, it doesn't play into my hands and it's also shit.
And then you've had 2 days on the day.
I'm on the back foot now. I've got to turn this round because I've got a fucking job to do next week. Now I'm back in the real world, and I don't want to be sitting there miserable all week because, I've had. So my angling, to answer the actual question, I delve into this other species fishing because it don't half keep me excited. Yeah. Like you were just touching on there, you're buzzing about now targeting these river perch in the winter with a slightly different tactic than you've used before. It's all new to you. It's all fresh. And as long as I can retain that in my angling, whether that's going to Norway and catching a big cod, whether that's going down the canal and catching a rough, or anything in between, as long as I can maintain that, I will love it.
And doing
just continue to love
what makes you happy.
Yeah, what makes you happy. Yeah. And what wouldn't make me happy, because I have been here before as an angler, probably in my sort of mid-20s, is thinking I wanted to be a carp angler, devoting every spare moment to carp fishing, not enjoying it.
Yeah,
it was shit.
You see it. You see a lot of people do it, and they go through the motions and they fish for 2 or 3 years, and then they actually lose.
We get it in the shop all the time. They come in, they're your regulars, and you can see them. They've got their, I totally get that.
Balance. Someone said it earlier. This word balance.
Social media as well, where they feel like they have to.
They should be catching 30 pounders.
Well, they should have some validation, or they should get a following, or
that's where you shouldn't have any social media.
Just to a degree, and be able to go fishing without a camera as well. You know, this is one thing that's quite important.
I used to thrive on that though. When I was doing the magazines and then the guiding, to have people used to say to me, and you probably get it, oh, it must be fucking wicked working in fishing, you get the fish all the time. Actually, there was times when I was like, I didn't want to fucking go fishing because I either had a camera in my face or I was writing something or guiding. When you can actually get those little bits away from it and just go for a bit of a fish.
Your personal fishing
different.
and
Very
business
different.
fishing are quite
Very
different.
I should be fishing today. It's perfect out there. There's tuna everywhere. Since I started a tackle brand, my fishing's just gone downhill.
Yeah, this is.
We should be out on that boat today.
Right, wrap it up, mate.
Let's go home. I reckon we've got a window.
Well, it was a pleasure meeting you, lads.
Yeah. Here's the boat keys. I'll see you later.
Shut poppers.
Yeah, we should have just gone for it. The charter boats are out there today. They're 3 miles off a start. We should have gone and launched some poppers at them.
Well, we said next time, can't we? I mean,
There'll be another
No,
time,
but this is
sure.
part of it as well. Like on this particular trip, we've actually had a bit of a beating, and I think one more beating might kill the
Push you over the edge.
enthusiasm.
Yeah,
but
it won't
like,
kill the enthusiasm, but it'll be. What I'm getting at is, I know how to claw it back.
Yeah.
And the clawing back process, all it would involve is me going, oh, do me a favour, can we just swing into this campsite quickly? We swing into the campsite, I get a loaf of bread out, I do a lap with my sawn off, I find a £4 common in the corner, and I catch it. And all of a sudden, morale is just like back up. Now, a lot of people wouldn't be able to, like, take enough from that £4 common. It would still have to be £40. It's enough for me. You know, and if we stop again on the way home, we have a brace of perch each, and then we stop on the way home, and Ollie has a nice barbel, then I'll bring it back round. I go, yeah, that was a wicked couple of days.
Yeah, for sure, yeah.
A wicked couple of days. And now next week I'm going to have a great week at work.
I think you've touched on it there, and I think that's a really cool point that people can take away from it is even guys that are slightly more higher within the angling industry, you still suffer from that like I said, those bad days, that pressure of catching, and it does affect you.
And trust me, nobody loves fishing more than Alan.
Yeah, so,
like,
and that's really relatable
but-
because average Joe's going to have the guys that are blanking on their canal, their pond, or their pike fishing and they can't catch a pike. It's really relatable, and even the guys that they're going to see online in the mags are going to think, "Fucking hell, Al's only got to look at the water and the fish jump on the line."
This is where social media isn't real life.
Exactly, and
I get this. I've had it this week. Someone said to me, "Oh, you've been doing really well lately. You know, you've been catching loads." And I'm like, "I'm glad it looks that way."
Yeah.
Because that's not the reality of it. I've had some tricks.
Time moves so quick in people's lives that they'll see a post. 3 weeks could have gone by.
And they don't
You've
realise.
grafted for them 3 weeks to get those 3 captures,
Exactly
and they
that.
think you've been having it off for
Exactly
3
that.
weeks straight.
Yeah. This is the point. So you
know,
have to take it with a pinch of salt, and you have to be realistic about
And
it.
I think people can be too sucked into it, can't they? Of the social media, like you say, the glam lifestyle of it, and seeing these catches everywhere.
We all have our moments where we're maybe feeling a bit down and our lives doesn't feel great, and you're looking to something to inspire you or to make you buzz or to help you get up for work the following morning.
Yeah, for sure.
We've all
And for
been
me,
there,
that's
like-
just a £4 common.
That'll do it for me as well. Well, I showed you that.
Cornwall.
So I was going into Europe because I was getting that. You were talking about it in car. I wanted to be a carp angler. I was fishing all the time. We had a massive post office contract. I was telling my missus I was up country ripping post offices out, and I'm sat in Clumpton on diggers, just lapping, catching fish. But I was, as much as I was like enjoying it at the same time.
Is she going to listen to this, by the way?
She don't listen. It's fine. I've told this story a couple of times and she hasn't rumbled me yet, so we'll be fine. But I was still, as much as I thought I was loving it, I was going through the motions. In Europe, with the Eurobank, save that. And I went to the hot flow pipe and I caught that ratty. It's £10 in a purse. I've got it centrepiece where I tile the bars. I've got all my pictures across the wall. That ratty common is right. It's surrounded by those 2 40-pounders. That common means more to me than anything else. And we were the same thing. We'd just be going round and like the trip's gone like this. And then you find some fish in the corner. Out came the bread bomb, because I love the bread bomb. Stink, bang, right, game on again, let's go. And all of a sudden you're psyched back up again. We're like, right, we're going to go over here, we're going to go do this part. We're going.
Nice, the roller coaster.
Yeah. Sorry, it's been really, I've not got my words out at all, but that's the reason why I personally anyway love the multi-species fishing, because I could be sent off either through choice or through work. Right, let's go winter carp fishing. Let's go down to the Pyrenees. So we've travelled all the way down there to go carp fishing. It's shit. It's not on. Can't find them. Other anglers present. Like the weather conditions are just let's do zander fishing.
Yeah.
Let's do perch fishing. Let's do let's go and fucking chuck met
Bowler's
spinners
got
for
it
trout,
right,
you know.
isn't it?
And that for me, it was never a carp fishing trip. It was a fishing trip.
It was a fishing trip.
It was a fishing trip. You know, it might be that my employer's paying me to go and make a carp fishing film, and the boys that are filming carp fishing content. But I'll always, and you've referenced the Avon film. There was another film come out this year, Fish the River Lot. I featured more barbel and chub than I did carp in it. You know, because it was what happened at that moment. You know?
Really enjoyable videos, actually, mate. I really enjoyed it. Yeah. So, do you have anything? Let's fast forward a bit with your fishing. Do you have anything left in fishing that you need to fucking do?
Everything.
What's your absolute
£5 wrasse this evening.
Well, yeah, big. I've had a massive rash. I just want Ollie to catch a big wrasse today. I've had loads of big
He
wrasse.
wants to cast a wrasse. I actually don't care that much.
You do really.
I'm a slow burner. I don't need to complete it today. It doesn't need to be done before 5
I want
o'clock
Ollie to
today.
catch a big wrasse today.
Because otherwise, what am I going to do next week or the week after?
Do you know where you're going after this to go catch
I'm going to fire
it?
some pins. Yeah.
What time is it?
Yes, mate.
What time is it?
12:30.
When do you want to get on the road?
10 minutes.
That's fine. Because we'll disappear over. We'll go and get you a load of lures, and I want to get you boys on the fish. Like I'm super stoked because I'll sit here and talk to you all day. That's going to be the problem. I'm just going
it runs out in a couple of hours.
I just picked up I had to pick up 2 parking tickets for our last guest because we were sat in here for far too long.
Want to overrun?
Oh, we had tears on the last one. The guy's called the amputee angler. Does a lot of boat fishing. Had his legs blown off in Afghanistan.
Is he a carp angler?
No, he's a boat fisherman out of Eastbourne.
You know who I'm thinking of?
Yeah, no. He was telling us the stories about all this stuff. We were 3 hours on that one. We had tears, we had everything. Then we went to wrap it up. Then we went to go again because we started talking about walked out parking tickets on both cars. I was like, give us that. I'll sort that one out. I got one the day before because I couldn't be asked. There was no parking spaces, so I just dumped it outside. Premium parking, isn't it? It's either I've got to go home or I just leave it outside. 25 quid. Three parking tickets in 3 days.
How the other half live, eh?
Yeah. Well, that's tuna fishing. It's high end. You've got to take your parking tickets with it. Like it's part of the thing. It's part of it. Oh yeah, it's a shame we couldn't get out on the boat.
Yeah, like I say, we will.
Like this is
The weather shit on us this week, big style.
And it was my wife's birthday. He gave me the date. He sent me a message going, "You've never guessed what I've done." I was like, I won't tell you what I messaged him back to start with. And he's like, "I've only gone and got Alan." And I was like, Blair, he's like, yeah, fuck off, mate. Absolutely no chance. He goes, he follows me and he likes my fishing. I read you them. He likes my bass I've caught. Shut up, dickhead. What are you on about? Turns out he pulled out of the bag. He goes, he's got one day he can come down. 11th October. I was like, that's my wife's birthday, mate. I've done from the middle of July. I have just been getting ready to go fishing and then tuna fishing.
So you're fitting out a post office today, are you? Or summer up?
No, she goes, that's over, we're good. She was like, we're going away for the weekend. We got an Airbnb booked in Falmouth for 2 days. Life will be good. But this morning she got up, she was like, oh, what are we doing this morning? I went, I'm going to meet Alan Blair. I'll see you later.
Is it her birthday today?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Bounced out the door. But I did all the thing.
She wrap it up.
She come down this morning. There was birthday, like helium balloons all down through the front room. Got her presents, cards, the whole lot. We all overslept. So we went bounding out the door late for school run this morning. And then she's gone out with her mum. We're going to finish this. I'm going to go home and see her, take the dogs to the kennels, and we're going to Falmouth after school.
Mate. Good for you.
I really want to go tuna fishing. I ain't going to lie with you. I'd much rather go tuna in, but
We'll come back. When is the best month?
September.
Is it?
Yeah, September. Get down here mid-September.
What about not tuna? What about just a good day's fishing? If you had to,
would you want to get out on the boat?
The reason I
want to get on the boat?
I want to take Ollie out on the boat. Yeah. I'm lucky. I get out on boats a few times a year, but I'd love Ollie to get out and have a really nice day. What would you say for someone who's not been out for a day sea fishing before would be the best day's fishing?
And June, we've got the weather window.
How many species do you think Ollie could catch in June if we got out for a whole day with you? I'm intrigued because I know if I go to Penzance,
different fishery.
Yeah, them boys have put me on
Very
20 to 25
very
species.
different- very different.
What can you put? 10 species? 8 species? 7
Depends how small you want to go.
It depends what you want to catch.
You'd like that, wouldn't you, more than anything? Like catching a bit of everything, or do you just want to go and tug those big bars around?
You can.
We won't go tugging
can
bars
fish
around. We'll go
and I'll,
properly live baiting.
I'll take pictures.
No, you need to fish.
Yeah,
We could put you on.
I'm not as bothered about fishing as Alan is. I get my rocks off other ways.
We could get up towards 10. They've got a different fishery down there. Those boys are on Unleashed. Get off the bottom of Land's End. You've got 7 different tides coming in. They can fish one tide, whip 2 miles across and fish another tide, then come over here and fish this tide.
I'd like to see the tuna busting up. That's what I'd like to see. I don't even need to stick a hook in one. I'd like to see it. I'd like to
If we
see
see
it.
them busting, I'll let them.
No, but
we'll
this
Owl's already got the pot ready.
this isn't your dream this time, bruv.
Yeah, true.
I've got a secret weapon as well. It's my mate Dave Mordecai. The lad is an absolute machine of a boat angler. Nobody is a better angler than that lad on the sea. It doesn't matter what you do. He's so OCD, methodical about how he goes about his fishing. He literally just goes, they're over there. And off he goes. I call him my safety blanket. Whenever we go fishing together, I have no qualms when to get on the fish.
Yeah,
I'm never
on it.
Yeah, he's just on it. He's just an absolute
Watercraft, isn't it?
But he's the most modest, humble guy you will ever meet. You tell that to him, and he's like, "Nah, I'm not, mate. No." We had the guy.
Is he a skipper?
Of his own boat.
Of his own boat.
Yeah, of his own boat. But he is just... But he's only in Torquay. Like, me and him fished together. I took him to Portugal with me. He was supposed to come to Scotland with me, but yeah, he's back. He's just an animal.
He's done all the big stingray fishing in Fort Ventura stuff off the shore. On
He goes skate fishing up in Scotland. Yeah. I'll drop you his YouTube. He starts his YouTube by going, "Don't follow me. This is just for my own fishing." But he's just an absolute weapon of mass destruction at all fishing that he does.
I will definitely take his name off.
Yeah. He's just a super nice guy. He's a plasterer by trade. Just waves at walls all day. You know what I mean?
Good money.
Yeah, but he's like this all the time for working too much. But yeah, we'll get you down. We'll get my boat out. We'll get his boat out. We can have a camera boat. We can fish off his boat. We can do all the things that you want to do. We can just make it happen.
Yeah, for me, it's like I was explaining to Al yesterday. Like, it's when you've carp fished as long as I have, or when you've fished as long as I have. But the main chunk of that, certainly in the last sort of 15 years, has been carp fishing. It's not boring. That'd be the wrong way of describing it. But it's like, the buzz is less and less. Oh, look, there I am loading the van again with the same carp fishing equipment. And
maybe
when I
for
get
you,
there,
but for some people it isn't, Alan.
No. I'm just saying, for me personally,
Yeah.
I've got this period of quite intense carp fishing in lots of different situations as well. Like I say, big rivers, big harbours, shipping canals, small streams, sight fishing, chucking, boat work. I've done a bit of all of it, and you're not an expert at all, but you kind of know your way around those situations. I know more way.
You know enough to be dangerous.
I know enough. I know enough.
would say
I
so.
know enough to be in control of a situation. I can turn up somewhere in Europe, especially if I've got like someone like to bounce off together, and we go, right, what we got here, right?
Do you know, it's
big
interesting.
lake.
Like, I'm not, and you're not so much now either. You used to be like super interested in every little fucking detail of getting there before, whereas I'm not in the slightest bit interested. I just want to turn up and I want to see it in front of me and deal with the problem. I don't want any preconceived ideas, because very often you turn up with your preconceived idea and it's all gone to fuck.
I like to know a little bit on the maps. I do like a bit of Google earthing where I've got access in, maybe the top for my
shallows, plateaus, prevailing
logistics,
winds.
absolutely. But anything other than that, no.
I want to deal with it when it's in front of me.
Because and you have to trust. It's a trust thing. It's trusting that you have the ability and the tools and the skill set and the equipment to be able to deal with that situation when you come across it. And when you have that faith in yourself, that's what's dangerous.
That's what I meant. Yeah. That's what I meant.
Where I was going with it, for me, so let's say you go through like the problem solving and the reward at the end of it, I've had a lot of those rewards. Like a lot of those, we've got one in the retainer to photograph. But when I come to the ocean, it's totally fucking different. I have not got a clue about all of these points here in carp fishing that I'm pretty competent at. Like, then I come to the sea and I'm like, I can't even do step one. Like, I don't even understand how the tide works. I don't know. I can't compute what the tide is. I know it comes in and it goes out again, but someone messaged
Twice a day.
So, twice a day. Someone messaged me going, "No, it's a small tide at the moment." What the fuck?
Yeah,
a small tide.
It's around the moon
It's
phase.
sea,
Big
like-
move,
but
big
that's what I
moon,
mean.
big tide.
So
you got neeps.
For Alan here, Alan is at 0.1 of whatever the scale is. So when, like 2 days ago, I'm on a mark and I've had 5 fucking bass, like in the biggest swell. And he's got photos, mate, like 7, 8 footers just coming clean over my head, just standing on the edge of the rocks, the waves, anyhow, just gone.
That's
over me.
bass fishing, that's-
That's bass fishing, and I've caught them on my own, like just me.
Nothing more rewarding.
Right, I'm getting goosebumps now,
Yeah.
all over my body.
Nothing more
because-
rewarding, man.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. I'm chasing that. That's what I'm chasing, and it could be a skate in Scotland. It could be whatever it is. But I
If you want to skate in Scotland, I've just mentioned the guy.
It could be a big
no,
gudgeon, a
you're
rough.
making it-
What?
it's
I've
not-
done 2 winters now for a big rough. I caught so many rough as a child. Did a lot
Did
of
you
match
see that one
fishing.
come up about a
yeah,
week
I see it
ago?
in Angling
God,
Times. I see it
ridiculous.
like this.
Ridiculous.
Like this. I haven't caught one. 2 winters. I've only done a few hours. A couple of little different
Bullhead.
spots. Bullhead, caught the first one probably a couple of years ago. Stone loach this summer with the girls. Only scoop netting, but the girls have caught stone. They're the things that. It's not that a big carp don't get me excited. It does, but I kind of know my way around that situation and those situations and the problems you do get dealt and get thrown.
You need a challenge.
I want a challenge.
Yeah, yeah.
You need
So
a
sea
challenge.
fishing-
You
Well, yeah,
need
my
a
dad.
challenge.
I have to, yeah.
So sea fishing, you're constantly out of your depth because it's not
I'm
just.
at step 1.
Well, I think everybody. I don't think you can get to step 10 in sea fishing because it's changing constantly. You can turn up to those marks and you can have it off a couple of times. Then you go through a tide cycle or this happens.
And this is what you're clinging on to with some of these things.
They've been out netting. They might have been out netting the day before. You're dealing with, like lads come up to a lake, they're like, how many acres is this? How many, You've got the sea.
That's what I mean.
It's an ever-changing
I look at
beast.
it and go, how are you even going to catch one from there? How is it
I'm going to
even
sling this
possible?
25 grand.
On that fucking on a scope rod where I can't even stay in contact with not even decent PE braid. Like everything's stacked against me, everything. And it's those moments of getting it right, and you're like,
But
this
that's the
is
reward.
biggest
But that is
buzz ever. Like,
But that's exactly.
This is
it,
what's
isn't it?
kept me from going. I've still got all my carp gear. I'm almost now going back through the phase of I want to go back to it a little bit. But I started dipping my toe. I never wanted to be a sea angler. I had no intentions of being a sea angler. I was a carp angler. That's all I wanted to do. I wandered around dressed like you constantly, head to toe in it. All my photos pre-COVID, I'm just dripping in carp gear
Full
constantly.
camo anchor.
Yeah, 100%. Double DP, the whole kit and caboodle. And then COVID come along. I couldn't get out of the country because I refused to have me jabs. And I was just like, what am I going to do? I had a boat, I could do this, I could do that. And I'm just completely immersed in it. Now I just can't do anything else. My mate who still loves...
Addictive personality.
He's got me bad. My mate rings me up who's still well into his carp fishing. He's just like, oh, should we pop down one of the little lakes tonight and do a couple of hours? I'm like, nah, because I'm going out on the boat, mate. Like, see you later. Just gone. Just gone. Rock up down the marina's 10 minutes from here, jump out the car. It's got a space. It says 1 hour max parking. I just dump the car in that spot, leg it down the pontoon. I'm at sea in 10 minutes. 20 minutes from my door, I can be a mile off. Just gone. Right, okay, let's go find some now
Freedom.
the tuna's got me super bad. Yeah, super freedom. Now the tuna, now I'm struggling to do anything else at all. Every so often the lads are like, should we do a different trip? Should we go and do a bit of this? We'll go do. I just want to.
I think a lot of lads get like that with carp. They become obsessed with carp.
Yeah,
if they didn't come up through the. If they came up, from other species to carp, sometimes the carp seems to be the pinnacle and they get stuck at carp. But then it trickles back down again, like you become a carp angler and then all of a sudden you go back to everything else again.
Fully, 100%. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll come back full circle to it at some stage, but at the moment I'm just obsessed with these massive apex predators that we've got in our water.
Rightly
so, yeah.
Yeah, they're amazing. It's taken me off some mad adventures. I was up in the North Sea the other day trying to track them down, trying to work out if these are Scandinavian fish coming around. And now you're like lads are obsessed with like carp strains in, like VS or Simos or prairie fish or all this. Now we're trying to work out if we've got tuna that are coming from Scandinavia or why are they off of Ireland, or we've got certain fish that might have pointy bills that we might be trying to hunt at and all this sort of stuff. And it's just like, and then you're looking, instead of looking at a map in Europe of trying to find, now you're looking at the UK and going, we're going to take the boat up here and launch it off of here and we're going to go over here and do this.
And then you're looking further afield at where they're coming from and it becomes a a global thing, doesn't
Yeah,
it?
where can we pinch them off at this point?
It's
We think
that
they're coming
rabbit
over
hole,
the top of Scotland. Can we launch off the north coast and go and intersect them where they're coming down this part of it? And it's
Who were we with yesterday that showed us 5 bonito they just caught?
there's loads of bonito. You want to do bonito fishing?
Yeah, someone showed.
We'll go down the Catlins and don't go slow pitch jigging for them. There's loads of them over. There's flocks of them. We've got albacores. We've got bonitos.
Those are the ones you can hold up for a picture.
How far you got to go out for them?
Oh, we could be from getting on the boat. We could be on the Catlins in 25 minutes. We're not even far out. We just need to.
What's the season like for them? The same as the bluefin?
Yeah, they're here now. Well, so off of, if you look out into the bay, on the right-hand side, you've got the lighthouse, Berry Head. Simon, who's got the tackle shop over in Hooks, he will say that, like, the end of August, you've just got to drop feathers and you've got to get down through the mackerel. They're sat underneath the mackerel in the deep water off of Berry Head, coming up.
Are we fishing a slow jig on the bottom of the feathers then?
That's one way they're doing it. Yeah, my mate is just slow jigging for them. So he's hooked off of the Eddystone Lighthouse, which is Plymouth, which from here is going to take us probably an hour to blast down on the boat. We're like probably 13 miles off at that stage. It's just Plymouth's down here, we're up here. We've just got to circumnavigate it by sea. But they've been catching them on the Catlins. They've got loads of them down in Cornwall. They've had them on the north coast. They've had them on the south coast. Lads aren't targeting them though at the moment. It's not. We're going to do some stuff with it next year. I don't know why lads aren't targeting.
There's a couple guys that they show up, but again, it's.
I think it's still a bit sneaky under the radar stuff. Some
people
of the lads
are a bit panicky about it because they think that it's like the tuna fish. Oh, we're going to get a bollocking if we do this. You're
allowed to catch them. You can target them. You're allowed to go for it.
There's a lot.
The Bolt Trail, they get them off there, but metals off the Bolt Trail.
There's too much politics.
We don't want any rules, do we?
Well, that's why we're on a boat. So we haven't been allowed to target them. This is the first year you could target tuna with a recreational licence. There was about 35 of them handed out. There was the initial, then 6 came back from Wales. I was blessed enough I got one. My mate Dave Mordecai got one, and another lad Jack, who's in our WhatsApp group, got one. I might have been targeting tuna longer than, having that recreational licence, but there's loads of lads that are still at it.
It's small time, yeah.
I think a lot of the politics comes from the charter boats, which had they called it the golden ticket, and they didn't like lads
protecting their.
They were protecting their income, and that's fair enough. But when you live on the coast and you've got a boat and you're well capable of catching fish, like we went out and we spent thousands on all the proper equipment. Alatechnos 5080 class rods, Pen 80 reels, £200 holocaust braid, £225 top shot. We Stella 30,000s. Like we've got all of the kit. Black Magic fighting harnesses. We've got all the kit to target these fish properly. Why can't I go target them? In my experience, anybody who listens to the government is onto a hiding anyway, so you might as well just go and do your own thing. But we didn't rub it in people's faces. You saw some of the boats going out because those big game rods look sick. They'd be in the holders, they'd be up on the roof racks.
Exactly what they're going out to do.
Yeah. Whereas ours was hidden in the cabin, and it wouldn't come out until we were 5 miles off. Then all the gear would come out, and if we saw anything that looked like a charter boat, the gear would come in and we'd shoot off somewhere else. And none of it was being put on social media. We were fishing for the love of wanting. I had to teach myself how to tuna fish. No one should. There's no videos on how to tuna fish unless you want to watch Australia or the American boys, which are doing it slightly different.
Yeah, different.
Just quickly, just remind me, what about that fucking bad co thing,
mate? That geezer, 178.
Helicopters.
He's got 178-foot support boat.
Sorry to interrupt you.
No, I'm not small with this. He's got a Viking 64 on the back of his boat. Like a Viking 64 is a multi-million-pound American big game boat, which anybody would be buzzed to own. His is craned off the back of his support boat. He's got a submarine in his new boat, isn't he? Yeah, that guy, I don't know what he is. He comes across as like a big hedge fund manager or something. But that
is he like the Chinese?
That's it.
One? Yeah.
But he does it for the pure love of marlin.
He reminds me of you. That's why I mentioned it. I was like, Tuna Gear is going to be there one day. I'm going to keep in with these boys.
I'll take that.
They got helicopters and then drop me into the Amazon.
Next year, helicopters.
Rider, helicopter.
We've got a drone at the moment. That's about as far as we've got. Sorry to interrupt. But no, that bad company, that is what I would love to emulate that model over here.
Hugely inspiring, man. Like, hugely inspiring.
Who did we, when we sat down and had our marketing meetings when I was first starting, I listed out all these brands and we just said, I'm going to nick the carp fishing model. I told you about it. I nicked the Nash. I looked, our website is we did. We robbed it completely. But you gave me that. You gave me that inspiration. I looked at it and I was like, I would have loved the cart brand, but what am I going to do? A beanie and a leg clip and a mug? Like the market's done. You can't kick the door in. Whereas I got handed this opportunity on my doorstep to have this fishery. And I just thought, I'm going for it.
It's organic, it's real, it's fresh.
And then, thank you, mate. Thank you very much. And then you look at Bad Company and you're like,
I want to go there.
that's where I want to take it. I'm not a hedge fund manager.
Why could it not be like that?
It can be. It can
It's
be.
the best tuna fishery in
the world. So I went. Have you heard of ICAST, the big trade show? So I flew out to Florida this year. Took myself off to ICAST.
Absolute essential business trip.
We would have definitely gone, wouldn't we? 100%.
Well, that's how I sold it to the missus. I didn't get to do any fishing. This was the thing. I went there to go and look at the other brands and look what they had done and go and see how the American market had done it. But
what was it like? I've never been. What was it like as a show?
Unreal.
Was it?
Unreal.
American, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
The best pro of shows.
So you've got...
How many hall? Did you ever go to the NEC Birmingham as a child? I reckon we were a similar age.
How old are you?
40.
I'm 43.
Yeah, so did you ever go to the NEC Birmingham fishing show?
No, so I've done the big one.
Okay, so you've done the big one.
Yeah, I've done
How big would you say ICOS was in compared to the big one?
20, 30 times bigger.
Was it really?
Yeah, it's ginormous. Absolutely ginormous. They've got their casting tank.
Alan, he just went.
I just didn't even know where to. Their casting tank is as long. It is all of this. This room, right to the far end of the wall. It's like a 40-foot shipping container with these guys doing all these demos with these really pissed off looking bass sat inside it, going, "I've got to get caught for the 50th time today." But you can go out the back and they've got all the boats out on the lakes and. Like the first day, I'll probably walk around it in a day, but not in any great detail. What Zwol's like, all that. It's like that in one. It's just ginormous.
So to put context, just say we'll pick a brand. Shimano at ICAST is as big as probably the main portion of the big one. Just Shimano stand the way it's laid out.
Wow.
Costa, the glass company, again, they have a village with an actual building built upon it, or wooden surf shack where you go sit down and watch TV.
2 stories, got beer up there, you can go and chill out upstairs. But so you were talking about the best fishery we've got. I went to ICAST and I was showing the Shimano boys our top water fishing, and they're like, we haven't seen that sort of action in 20 years. And that's coming from the Americans, where you've got wicked tuna, where you've got
they've got
boats.
nothing. They've eaten them all.
Yeah, they've eaten the whole lot.
But that's why
we've got this bigger fishery on our doorstep.
And that's why we need to attract that. We need to be the destination.
And there's your market, yeah, for sure.
We need to be that destination.
Yes, but I'm going to take Tuna Gear in a different way. So we recently did this tournament down in Falmouth, where there was 20.
Is this the shark one?
No, this is the first ever UK tuna tournament.
Okay.
I was one of the sponsors for it with Shimano and Suzuki. There was 20 boats. Only 3 of them were privateers. Me and my 2 mates.
So what do you mean by private?
Guys, so all the rest of them are charter boats.
Right, okay.
So now there's these recreational permits. There's guys like me who own my own boat, and we got licenses to target, catch and release tuna. Yeah. So we were the only 3 privateer boats. Everything else there was taking a booking, taking customers out.
Yeah, gotcha. Right, I've got you.
So I want to be the brand for the privateers. Yeah. I look at the charter boat business as a bit like the old guard. They were there for the first few years. They tow bars around. Yeah, they do some live baiting, a bit of poppering, but they're not going to do the Eurobanks equivalent of what we can do with the privateers. And I think that's where the fishery, everybody should be looking at. We should be buzzing these guys up to want to go and get a recreational license. Yeah, they might be out wrecking. My mate's doing it on a Warrior 165. That's a 5.5 metre boat.
I thought about doing it on a 320 rib, let me tell you.
I know a lad who's
about a lot of things
I'll show you.
I thought about off the shore, mate, with bait boat RT7s with like mackerel in the back of them.
You could do that. It's recovering them afterwards. And my mate's doing it with the.
Happen, is it?
No, my mate's doing it in a 3 metre polycraft.
So I mean, it's
getting towed around all over the place. I was going to do a video because I've got one of the small Raptor inflatables.
Yeah, like
I was going to take that out on my boat, hook up, jump in the Raptor, send the drone up, and have me fighting this fish in the Raptor. But we'd get pulled to pieces.
Fighting this fish.
Yeah, just getting towed around for miles after miles.
But this is the thing. This is that we'd get pulled to pieces. By who? Because we get it in carp fishing. Like, I'm constantly criticised.
So at the moment,
I'm constantly criticised because my unhooking net's not big enough. I'm constantly.
So that's
it in a sack for too long, and you've got the carp police.
So that's the carp police over here at the moment. This is a trial fishery. So we've got the MMO watching us, who are like the police of the sea, although they're nowhere to be seen, but they are watching people's social media.
What's this? Marine Maritime
Organisation, yeah. So they're the ones.
Who do they have jurisdiction over?
Anybody that's on the water fishing, commercial.
The UK government.
Yeah, they're branch of the UK government, but they're after they're policing the commercial sector.
So what are they looking for? Stolen fish.
So they're looking for. So at the moment, you are not allowed to target tuna in the UK unless you have a recreational license like me, or you have a charter boat with a catch and release tuna license. You are not allowed to go after them. So,
okay, so who's so that fact there alone, no one's policing that though.
Well, the MMO should be, but they're not because there's.
But if I wanted to toodle out on a rib with a mackerel hanging out the back of it and just fly around, no one's going to stop me from doing that, are they?
No, they're not.
Technically,
no one's policing me to stop me.
No
doing
one's
that.
policing
I
it.
get at a carp fishery, I can go around, sorry mate, really, and I want to do a rig check. Have you got a barbed or a barbless hook on? Or we told you it's no time.
Technically, the MMO, fisheries are out there in ribs. There's a big boat called Viking Centenord.
One big boat.
One big boat, and it cruises up and down, and then you've got the Ifka rib as well, which floats around all over the place. In the X amount of years that I've been tuna fishing, I've never been stopped, I've never been checked. Sometimes
I saw that John, I watched one of his videos the other day and they boarded him. It's like
staged.
It was. Do you reckon?
I reckon.
God, you don't like him. We should be talking about it.
Yeah, well,
I love him. I'm a big fan. Anyway,
I did. I was very pro all the stuff. I thought his videos were amazing.
You think that's staged, do you?
Rumour mill.
You're a shout. This is like the final Christmas deal. Just ruining everything.
The rumour mill is right.
There's no dinosaurs in Jurassic.
The Easter Bunny ain't real either. It's the rumour mill's alive with all the things that have been going on. I used to love his videos. I thought he was very informative. I thought the stuff he was doing with his son out there was very good. Getting your kids into fishing.
Catch and cook.
Yeah, catch and cook and all that sort of stuff.
It.
And then he didn't get a licence, and for whatever reason, he decided to really talk down the tuna fishery, which I didn't think was I didn't see why he had to do it. You know,
what do you mean by talk it down? Just say it's not actually that good.
Talk shit.
So he's saying, "Oh, we'll just go and target fresher shark fishing because you can live bait for freshers." He put videos up of him tuna fishing when we weren't supposed to be tuna fishing. You know, bycatch, whatever you wanted to call it. I don't know if the MMO, when these licenses came out, everyone said it was a lottery. You put your name in the hat. If you got one, you got one. I put my email application in, and they came back to me and said, "Oh, you've made a mistake on your form. Could you clear this up for us?" Well, if it was a lottery, why did they ask me to clear up this mistake? They would have just thrown it in the bin.
Yeah.
So, for whatever reason, he didn't get one. He now doesn't like the fishery, and he's been going around targeting tuna and posting it all up when you're not supposed to be targeting tuna. And it's sort of like the MMO look at that, and they're like, well, there's all this illegal fishing going on. And it's making hard work for them. It's supposed to be a trial fishery at the moment. I want this fishery open to everyone. You know, I don't think that everyone should get this golden ticket that people talk about. I think if you can prove that you're capable on your boat, you're not just on a rickety old tub.
Yeah.
You've got the right rods, you've got the right reels, and
Who decides that though?
Well, like I said to you about Felix has had to send the rod off to Norway. They've had to physically take the rod, so he sent it from Germany to Norway. They must put it on a machine and test the blank,
so
then they send the rod back with a certificate, and you can use that rod in Norway top water.
So what happens is over here, we'll be out fishing, we're using a 12 to 20 class rod, we're out fishing, and all of a sudden that rod just hoops over, snapped off. You know, the line's not good, and that's just tuna grabbing some chicken chuckers or a slow jig we've got down there. So you do need really a minimum of a 50 class rod. You need a minimum of a 50 class reel so you can get that line on there.
So is the tuna actually ruining the sport fishing for other species?
Yeah, they're eating everything. There's too many of them out there. Really, the commercial fishery needs to be bigger for them. We have got them in packs up here. They're smashing the sprat when they're breeding. We've only just got the sprat back.
It's just turned up.
Yeah. You cannot go up to Start, which is a real good honey hole for bass fishing. There's a resident pack of tuna that live up there. Off the side, you've got, it's Hall Sands, isn't it, or B Sands? Yeah. There's an old rod in line bass fishing community that live there. They launch their boats off the beach. Wow. Half of them have given up fishing because you can't get out there because the tuna are smashing them all.
We've been at Start Point bassing, and you have to wind in because you've got 200 to 500 pound tuna
smashing your bats off the rocks.
10 yards off the rocks.
Let me tell you, I would not be reeling in.
Yeah, but the thing is, the problem is you're going to hook them on whatever.
Yeah, I'd take the right gear down there. I'd dig in. You've not seen them shark videos where they dig right in.
Probably got out. Is loads of pots.
I've also seen a few short court things where they just rinse them and go, dink, and it's gone.
Yeah.
Waste of time.
I know
You
from
can't
carp
chase them.
fishing, we were talking about this, and I'm not for any moment saying I've got any idea what I'm talking about, but I know in my carp fishing, I can think of one particular instance. I've had my pants pulled down where I fucking got in the boat far too quick, and I would have been better off playing them from the shore. Is there not an argument that...
Yeah, but this is from a small boat. You need to be in a big boat because then you've got the resistance skis like that.
Yeah, but I've been in a big boat with big tuna, and it is absolutely not easy still. In fact, it's fucking hell.
Yes,
I'm just wondering
the smaller the boat, it's going to be even worse.
Could there be, or you think just from the shore you got no chance?
Problem we got is what we're on about is the buoys, isn't it? You hook up at start, you've got lobster pots and buoys everywhere. That's just going to cut
They're just going to do. Yes, I think it's capable of fishing. You're capable of getting them from the shore. We find a lot of the big ones are inshore. At start, the £200 ones are quite rare. 500, 600, £800. Yeah. They're chasing the garfish.
Yeah, and I've only ever seen.
They're lone fish. You're not seeing the big washing machines. You're seeing big lone fish.
It's the most mental thing you've ever seen, and I'm talking 10 yards off the rocks.
Seen that video recently with a mate. He has got his camera in his hand and one busts up through the water chasing the garfish, and he gets the still
I've seen
of
it.
it coming straight at him. Yeah, I mean they've got the moment on.
Is that the one where it comes on, almost hits the boat?
Almost hits the boat.
Yeah, I have seen that one.
That's not here though, is it?
No, but the stuff you saw last year, which was all over social media, was Start Point. They were smashing the gar in Start Point. It was
it's unreal. You just can't believe what you're seeing.
Why is it then that I spend so much time watching like Black Tip or Badco and all these epic productions of like the coolest shit and catching the biggest fish? Why has no one done it here? Because especially this year, I've done quite a few little trips: North Dorset, Eastbourne, flitting around.
Take sat up in their chairs.
I can answer this. I can answer this.
Why is it the core that paved the way?
Because sea fishing is 2 decades behind carp fishing's branding and marketing experience. Okay. When I turned around and said I nicked what you boys did and took it to here because you are so far ahead of the sea fishing scene. When people still think of sea fishing, 2 unmatching rods on the end of the pier with a geezer in a high-vis jacket and a Shakespeare
definitely
box.
A high-vis box.
Yeah. It looks like he's just got off the road. It looks like he's just got off the road. So 100%. That is where... That's just where I'm talking about the privateers. This is where we're going to do.
Are you going to be the first then? Is Tuna Gear going to be the first one to put out a video that people go, fucking
Yeah. We've done some stuff already this year where I looked at it. So some people have done some tuna fishing videos, but it's the same thing. They get down on the pontoon in the morning. It's a video of the boat. They get all excited about the rod and reel. And then they're like, oh, look at these bars and look at this. Because they're not lads who are out tuna fishing as much as we are. Whereas... we've got this series planned for next year where we're going to be here, we're going to be there, we're going to be doing this, we're going to be doing that. I've got lads in the group who specialise in popping. I've got Dave, who will be doing live bait, and I'll do some more stuff with the bars and some other bits and pieces. We're going to have the videographer jumping from boat to boat to boat, and we're going to put looks like a Netflix series together to go, this is what the privateer boys are doing. Come and see what we're doing. Like, I want to take it to levels. I'm not even care about... Every penny that I ever make from selling bars is going to go into production. That's all it's going to... I'm never going to take a wage from Tuna Gear. All I'm going to do is pump money into it to make the sickest content to promote this fishery and go, I believe it should be open to everyone. I don't think there should be in the politics in it. I don't think people should have been left out. And now they're not happy with this, and they've got to feel like they've got to talk down the other people. Slag off the MMO and slag this off. It should be an open fishery for everyone.
I remember like when they first started it, like 4 or 5 years ago, someone gave me the application form. This was just to be able to get on a boat on one of these tagging programs for this for the tuna fishing. So in comes this application form I've got to fill out. It's like, how many pelagic fish have you caught over £1,000? None. Like, of course I haven't. I live in fucking the Midlands in England. It was all these ridiculous questions, and I never got a place.
Yeah.
This was like 5 years ago, I think, when they were first.
They were just starting to get the chart program.
Just offering a few licenses for tagging programs. But I've always found the whole thing a bit peculiar because around that time, I'm blue shark fishing. I'm out. There's fucking bust ups everywhere, and I'm thinking
because they were protected because they were still protected at the time. So they'd been fished to the point of not extinction, but their numbers were at their lowest they've ever been. They weren't here to start with. They weren't.
They were here 5 years ago.
Yeah, 2015, 2014, 2015.
That's 10 years ago.
Yeah, that's when they first started getting spotted, and then in 2018, that's when don't butcher me on the dates, but I think it was about 2018. The government came out and said no one should be targeting. We're going to do the chart program. 24
This is what I'm talking about. This chart program. So I put an application in to try and be just an angler on one of them boats, but yeah.
Yeah. So, but then you could pay to get on those boats.
Correct.
Yeah, but it was like £1,000 a day. Yeah. You jump on a boat.
That's why I'm glad I've met you.
Yeah. Just come out, mate. Just come out. I've got 3 boats I could put you on. Plus, I sell to quite a few charter boats. Now they'd be buzzing to have you boys on there. We'll chuck some, they'll just be happy to have you come down and do some
just sidetracking a little bit. I went out, like I say, 2 or 3 weeks ago, out of Milford Haven.
Yeah,
and
there's some mad fishing out there.
I took 2 videographers with me, and the first videographer lasted 40 minutes. The second videographer lasted an hour and a half.
Hurling chunks.
Done, mate, done. Like complete and utter. Like Sam, the first lad who went down, his face went so white and all his bones come through and they all went black here where he'd been sick all day long. It was fucking bad.
So this just happened in Scotland?
I've got no footage. I've got fucking paid. I won't tell you much. I've paid a lot of money to get on this boat. We're out in the Celtic Deeps. It's going to be a mental day. Yeah, no videographers.
Just come down for free down here, mate.
I'm bringing them back down. They've had some training now. Get back on the boat.
So we were with Exeter. I was with the Exeter Uni up off of the Isle of Harris. And we're going out towards Kilda, which is 40 miles off the coast. And we've got these 30-foot slabs of water coming out. And we've got the 2 scientists just being sick either side of the boat.
Have they been on boats before now? Or?
One of them had. The other one of them had been, Lucy's been heavily involved with the tagging programme all over the place. That day, it just got her. But the other one, like, it's fair play to her. Like, she'd get up, be sick, go and lie down. As soon as something had to be done, she was up and ready to go. And then she'd be sick, and then she'd go and lie down again.
It's fucking relentless, though, isn't it? It takes.
I'm blessed. I don't get seasick. It never gets me.
Find out soon, Ollie, won't we?
I haven't seasick.
Yeah, go on, right.
Yeah, you'll be fine. You'll be absolutely fine. But yeah, it'll be great to get you back down. It'll be great to get you.
I look forward to it.
Really, but I can answer, backtrack.
Right, here's some questions.
No, not into that. I'll just answer quickly. Yeah. You said about like black tip and things like that.
Yeah.
They've got exciting fisheries all year round. We have a tuna fishery now, but you can have, say, 10 months a year or 9 months a year where there's not a great deal going on. How would you make, even the bass fishing, which is amazing, the wrasse fishing, or going out pollocking with the light gear, when you look at the grand scheme of fishing around the world, you've got to work really, really hard to get the same sort of buzz feel as what you get from the guys like chucking a hookless lure out on Miami and blasting up fish and the Keys, because we don't have that sort of fishery. Even when it's on,
we do make bream fishing exciting.
And that's exactly what I was going to say to you. That's where I disagree with you, and that's where if I was ever going to go again within the industry, and there was another platform for Nash outside of just solely carp fishing, I think there's more than enough.
But look.
I just think it's the delivery of it. Like
100%. It's the delivery of it.
Like, how do you make bream fishing exciting? I bet you bloody well could.
I bet you could. From my point of view, I'm not a sea angler.
Like,
I look at sea angling as being using very heavy gear to catch very tiny fish.
Oh, we fish super light.
Yeah, super light. Yeah.
So you need.
But we don't know about that. That's the problem. You've got 2 non-sea anglers here with this preconceived idea
and catch whiting or pollock, and I have to launch these enormous leads and weights off the beach.
Agreed.
And I don't even know I've got a bite.
So now you're talking shore sea fishing versus boat sea fishing.
You're talking about accessibility, which most people are not going to be able to afford boat fishing. Most people are not going to be able to afford expensive syndicates.
But what you've never want to know is the cost to make quite mundane fishing in the UK, and I've been involved in this year long enough. The cost is a factor. It costs an awful lot of money and investment in brands and boats and getting the right guys in. You can't just get your YouTubers like Blacktip and out that started as YouTubers. To get that end product that they've got now, that we all love watching these worldwide videos, if you look at the amount that's invested in that to get to where they are now, and you guys can know from what Nash videos are to make the park fishing videos what they are now, you can't just go out with your little Nikon and your iPhone and make that quality. And that's where
I don't understand. That's the bit I'm like struggling with. Even the likes of Carl Smith, why he's never stepped more into that arena, but there is nothing out there. Like, not to the level of, like, you can watch, like, the fly fishing videos from, again, not just the big brands, your Patagonias or whatever, but...
Ginclear Media, for instance.
Yes.
Yeah, amazing.
Sea fishing, carp fishing, fly fishing, they seem to have boxed it off. You know, one would argue maybe fly fishing the best, some of the productions, some of the big Yeti films or whatever. Yeah. But this sort of British, anyway, sea fishing media, it is, like, non-existent.
It is non-existent.
And where me and Ollie have been the last 2 days, the walks we've gone on, just the walks to get down to the spots, it's heaven, mate.
Stunning. We've got some of the nicest coastlines.
People need to see this. People in carp fishing were inspired enough to go and do Eurobanks. They're inspired enough to get a syndicate ticket and take on a yearly campaign or whatever, but I don't think there's any inspiration coming from the sea. I'm lucky. I've got out of Kieran and them boys down on Penn. They've given me the inspiration. I've met up with you boys. I've got the inspiration, and I get to travel a little bit. But I think for most anglers, Ollie's hit the nail on the head. It's taking a big lump of lead and chucking that in the ocean for a shit whiting. Like, sea fishing. Sea fishing.
I can't sure.
I know that's not the case, but that is definitely.
It's not far off the case.
It's perception, yeah.
It
was my perception as well. Like, even like going with my dad a lot on charter boats, I used to hate it, man. He'd take me out of fucking various shitholes and I didn't enjoy it. Loads of old men on a boat chucking something over the edge. But now I've been out with Kieran and them boys. Oh my God, it's epic. Like, epic.
Yes, but Kieran's nailed that with the Wild Seas brand. He has taken, like, indirectly, look what you boys have done in that car.
They just love fishing.
Yeah, they love fishing, but their media is sick.
Yeah.
I looked at what Kieran was doing. I was like,
hit the nail on the head.
Kieran inspires me.
Maybe this is the crest of the wave then. Kieran, Sam and them boys doing
it is. This is where we're going to be going.
Of, like, epicness will come, because you've said it a couple of times, we've got the best fishery in the world. Jesus Christ, people need to know that. People want to see that. It might not last forever. That fishery could disappear.
Yeah, I think
what if no one captured it? What if no one captured those big fucking popper busts up with 2 drones and, like, all that shit that the Aussies have got
next year you'll see a completely different set of content coming out.
Obviously, yeah.
This year I've got my recreational licence and I didn't have to look over my shoulder. So I've just gone to sea and I've been like, oh my God, I can just fish here and no one can say anything. Like, I haven't got to go running past all these fish because there's a charter boat there. I can just get my elbows out and come in with the charter boat. And I got so excited about going fishing, especially, and I've got this group of lads I fish with where I've been on my own doing it. I've just been fishing with his boss, me and him out on the boat, trying to teach ourselves to tuna fish. Now I'm in this group and we're like buzzing off of each other. We've all gone fishing. We've gone, where's the season gone? Like, we are on the close down of the season now. The weather's coming in. November's going to be, although it's the beginning of October, November will be here in a flash of an eye. The weather's going to blow up. In December will be a washout like last year. And it's like we've missed our window now. We've got some sick footage. We're going on Monday. There's a weather window Monday. The videographer's coming up. We're going to get the drones out. We're going to go and do some other stuff. But I've got massive plans for next year. Every bit of money that's in the bank that Tuna Gear's made is going to get ploughed into that market in next year. I want to do, like, again, Kieran inspires me with the stuff that he does. They've got the eye like you have. They've got Sam, I think it's Sam, his videographer.
You've met Sam. Sam's top drawer, mate.
Yeah. But he very unassuming sort of guy.
Super nice.
Yeah.
Super
just like you.
Yeah. Know me that well.
There's no egos with them boys. They are just they're very, very good at what they've done. I've watched their stuff going over a few years. I'm like, if I could produce to that scale, but in a Tuna Gear, our style of doing things.
I have no doubt that you will make it happen.
Thank you, mate. I've got no doubt I'm going to make it happen as well. I'm fully committed to it. We've got the funds to do it. We've got the boats to do it. I've got the guys. We've got the fishery and we've got the guys with different pursuits and the love of it that I've got to go and do it. They want to make it happen as well. Yeah, I'm super excited. Super excited about it. Like, yeah.
But you guys are living proof that if you push and you follow
Yeah,
your
exactly.
heart,
I'm sat
and you
watching
do it.
guys that did it in a brand,
that have
did
already
it
done
in a
You
fishery.
guys have done that.
And that is probably like the perfect example. We kind of just got to do
It's
what we wanted.
timing,
We wanted to go to
everything's
Europe.
timing, mate.
We were like, no one else was really going to Europe.
You never heard of it. Yeah, but it was a
one
French
filming
holiday, wasn't it?
Yeah. And we were like, fucking hell, let's just go even further this year. Let's go for a couple of more days this year. Let's go to a couple of different countries.
Well, this is your mentality. Is that
just pushed it on and on.
Nothing can ever be as good as it was before. It has to be better. Yeah. which,
100%.
which unfortunately you do paint yourself into a corner eventually, where it can only involve flying to the moon and then going to
There's
Mars.
water on Mars.
Maybe
Let's see if we can
stopping
have one off the
at
top.
Pluto on the way back. You know. But,
Yeah, but what a standard to get to, though, at the same time. I'm not, I don't think anybody in fishing can ever complete something.
No.
But you have set a hell of a standard out there, and that's what gives me inspiration, because I look at that and I go, if you look at the old style of, like, the old boys of carp fishing, and now look what you boys are doing and where you're running around and what you're getting up to, from tiny little dropping in out, stick one in an edge, watch you come in, slurp up a tiger and bang, and disappear off to another spot. To some of those lakes, where was that massive place? They were doing their electric shock in the lake and you left.
Montenegro.
Yeah, Montenegro. They went all the way to Montenegro, like.
Drove all the way to Albania. Drove all the way to Albania.
listen, every single one of them films is based around a fucking crazy dream.
Yeah.
One crazy dream.
That's what this is
and
based
for
on,
him,
you know.
it was fucking flamingos in a lake in.
Yeah, I'm still trying to get that one. Basically, if anyone's watching this and anyone's got any good Sicilian, Sardinian contacts, there's a fucking mafia-controlled island with an estuary on it covered in pink flamingos.
And maybe there might be a carp there.
Nah, there's definitely. I've seen the catch pics. Anyway, they're the kind
Lads
of
been
dreams.
sneaking in there and having a go.
No, you basically, if you're Italian and you're family connected or whatever, but I've been warned not to just tip up on this island off Italy and start making a carp fishing film there, and I haven't got a strong enough link to get in, but where Ollie's going with this, I've seen a photo of like this lake covered in pink flamingos, and I know there's carp inside. Well, of course I want to make a film there. I want the shot, mate, like lifting that carp out with just behind me a sea of pink flamingos.
Every single one of those
That's the dream.
had started off with a dream, and the first one it was to fish Tet D'Or with lions and tigers roaring while he was playing
that was
carp.
all the dream was.
Second
I just
one
wanted
was
to have my
with
rod
Blair.
down here.
The third one was fishing in the Alps. The fourth one was
Lake
Sweden.
Bled? What
The
about
fifth-
Bled?
that was
Bled
two.
was I'd watched it again, ironically, in
Pilar and
Italian.
Hoffman.
Yeah, Pilar and Hoffman.
That was a hell of a
usually-
video. I really enjoyed that.
You know, we took inspiration for the first two videos from Pilar and Hoffman.
Yeah.
There's always someone who inspires the inspiration, if you like. You know,
100%. That's what I was saying to you. If that 13-pounder, like that's driven me like this summer. That's been like that reoccurring image in my head of you holding that bass with that bit of kelp in the background. So I know it's fucking from an estuary. He's not even fucking on the boat. He's not offshore. Well, 10 minutes from my house, no, 9 minutes from my house, it's a fucking massive estuary. And bass are running. So of course I've been running down there trying to be you. Like trying to,
Don't tell him that.
No, but that's the point. Is it is inspiration? Like it is,
Gives
and
you
you
the
sharing
drop.
that one picture with me, like
we all
it's
bounce
like-
off each other. When
Yeah.
when he and I go fishing, we bounce off each other, and that's important to go fishing with someone who
You can learn
challenges
something
and inspires you.
Yeah, there's these two lads that are popping at the moment. That's all they've done this season is pop for tuna. And that's inspired me to really up my game to go and do what those boys are doing. We went and fished that tournament. The easy thing for them to do was to chuck the bars out and drag bars around. They were the only ones popping in that tournament.
It's what they enjoy.
Yeah, they buzz off
That's
it.
what I mean.
Jack
I
and
said to
Tim,
Wally,
absolutely
I've done the
brilliant,
bars,
you know.
and I don't really enjoy it.
Well, you
I want to
just-
just cast. I want to actually feel like I'm fishing, and it's each to their own. Some people want to go and put 2 buckets of gear out over 3 rods at Brazen. Let them enjoy it. If that's what you enjoy, and yeah, that's
Nailed
how you
it.
should
Oh,
keep it.
you've nailed that one there, and I really like that. Just because you don't like it doesn't mean that
you
I don't like it.
can't.
Doesn't mean that you don't like it.
Yeah.
And I guess that's where if we can all, within reason in angling, fucking let bygones be bygones
Yeah, and
and
that's-
just fish. We're fishermen at the end of the day.
That's where I was
And
going
that's
with the
such an
tuna
important-
politics. Like, just let me go and fucking catch one
I
on live.
I don't
like.
really want to know about the politics side of it. Same with carp fishing. Let me do what I want to do. Let me catch one from under a bush.
I've been very much from day one. The fishery
you do
should
what
be
you
open
want
to
to do.
everyone.
Like
It says on my website.
fun at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. It says on my website, Tuna Gear is a dedicated supporter of a catch and release fishery, tuna fishery for UK waters. And I think you do, we mentioned
That's
the
a good
gear.
mission statement.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
it should be. I believe it should be. I do believe that there should be a standard with gear
just for fish safety and angler
I don't
safety.
think you can enforce it. I think you can make it educational, and
we've done some videos we've got coming out about that, which is why I use these rods and reels. I couldn't put it out before because I didn't have a license to start telling people what to do. But now we've done some content on it of why we use this stuff. I fish a lot heavier than the other guys. I did when I was carp fishing because I wanted to catch the biggest one in the lake, and I didn't want to get snapped off because I was using £12 line when I could be getting away with £18.
The trouble is, we both came from a match fishing background, which dictated that you fished as fine as possible.
The lighter you go, the lure fishing the same. The lighter you go, the more bites you get.
So my mate fishes super
and the more
light.
sporting the experience. But there's a line for that, and carp fishing, you don't want to keep across that line. Every fish you want to land it.
Yeah, 100%. It's same with the tuna. I didn't want to be, because I'm doing a lot of bar fishing, I didn't want to lose anything and it swim around with a bar in its mouth. You know, so
you have to oversize.
Yeah. Well, you don't have to. My mate's fishing with £100 braid, £130 mono on top of it, whereas I'm fishing with £200 braid and 225 mono over the top. He uses loads of mono. I use about 50 foot of it. Most of my fights on £200 braid. Could I scale it down properly? Do I need to? Probably not. It doesn't, because the fish is coming up from behind it to grab it. It's not seeing your braid in the water.
No.
So it's.
We had this conversation last night. I didn't realise Ollie's not even been using fluoro. He's just tying his fucking lure straight onto braid. I've been using quite a long length of it because I'm like, oh, the water's a bit clear. Maybe I should put a big long length of it. The lad we were with yesterday, he's explaining there's certain situations where you want to drop it down fucking really, really short to be able to stay in better contact, so you've not got this big slack bit of. I'm constantly learning. I literally
all my lure fishing. I don't lure fish much these days, but I have done a lot of light lure fishing when it was not fashionable to do it over here. I had to get all my lures from Spain. It was all bass stuff back then in the 2000s, like late 90s, early 2000s, and I've never used a fluoro. I take a wire trace off because perch don't like wire, but I always braid straight through. According to over 4 pounds lure fishing, you know, and lots of fish. I never felt encumbered or hampered by using no leader. No. So when he told me yesterday, oh, you should use fluoro, I was just about to change it because I hadn't had any bites and I had a bite. But I'd spent most of the morning photographing rather than fishing. I think that was much more to do with the reason why I hadn't actually had as many bites. Not the fluoro. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. There's a buzz from learning that. Like I'm still learning in tuna fishing.
I'm constantly learning.
I'm learning off those boys popping. Like I'm going to jump on their boat.
And take something away.
And go and take some. Even though, like with Jack, I've probably been tuna fishing longer than him. He's just rocked up and gone fuck bars. I'm just going poppering for them, and I was I was really inspired by that. Like I love it when you see them. Like we'll be towing through a bus, and you just see this warrior comes flying up, and the boys are primed, ready to go. They just pull off the throttle, and they're like whapping out it goes, and you just see him like setting it like that, and then.
And that's the equivalent to rocking up with a bushwhacker or dropping one in the edge
straight and catching immediately.
Catching one straight away.
Yeah. It's where I did a lot of bar fishing this year because I've been making content for the videos, because I do believe that a lot of lads that are coming straight into tuna fishing just go and learn to fish on bars to start with. Go and learn a bit of watercraft about looking for the birds diving. Yeah. Finding bait on your sounder. Okay, well, we've got to run a bait through here. We've got gannets coming in. We've got shear waters down. Let's start working this bit of water with the bars out the back. Get the bites. Learn how to bring that fish in on the bar. Learn how to recover it. And once you've done that a little bit, now go and get the popping rod out. Now go live baiting, because it is a different fight. You know, you've been tuna fishing. You know how long those fights can be on a live bait and all the rest of it. It goes on for hours. It's teach yourself to bar fish, then go and move on to everything else. And there's times where you can't get them on a popper, but they'll take a bar quite happily, or they won't take a bar and they'll take this or they'll take that. And you just have it all in your armour ready to go.
You asked earlier, Danny, you were like, is there anything else in the world? And there is literally hundreds of things I want to do, but having been in at least half a dozen bust-ups now, at least, probably quite a few more, that's going to take some beating, mate. Yeah. That's fucking man. When you're right in there, when there is 1,000 birds up and down on the water, when
it's like a glitter bomb,
when it's
all the scales coming off the back of it,
when it's
that smell of fish, the
smell,
500 gar clearing the water, mate, like at once in just one bit. It's fucking mental, mate. And then when you're that guy with a rod there in that moment, that is like the ultimate heart racing shit.
You know what's going to happen.
You know you're going to hook up. You are fucking hooking up, man.
But the thing with those poppers, you don't know if you're going to get it to the boat.
No,
it's a
not,
completely
like.
different fight. Whereas the bar holds that hook in the mouth constantly. You'll fight, like the boys talk about
hooking a tarpon, isn't it?
As soon as that fish swims at you, get that slack in the line, goes, gone, spits it. Yeah. But those two lads are doing some super interesting stuff. I can't talk about it because it's their thing. It's not my bag. I'm going to make it sound like something I'm doing.
You need to get them on, didn't you?
Well, I fish with them all the time, but we're going to do the Christmas special with them. But they're doing some stuff with poppering in other sorts of lures, and now they've worked out with that washing machine certain angles to fish it out and do this. And this is stuff they've done just from being out there and being at sea, and that super excites me. Yeah, I'm like, okay, get rid of these bars. We're going to we're going to go do this. You
can't beat experience, can you? Over
you can't fake experience. You just can't fake.
Just trying it sometimes, a bit like.
Well, that's what we've been doing. I taught myself to tuna fish. I taught myself to tie those bars. I hadn't in any way, shape or form completed carp fishing, but I'd done some pretty cool stuff.
And you've got the coast on your doorstep.
And we got the coast on our doorstep. We've got the estuaries on our doorstep. We've got it all. We don't have a big carp. Like a 30 pounder around here is a big bloody fish. A lot of the times, that's why I probably like the Nash stuff, because a lot of the club lakes we're fishing, 12, 15, low 20s is what you're fishing for. So that's why it spoke to me so much. But we do have, the north coast is 50 minutes from here for us. We've got the south coast. A 2-minute walk from the studio we're sat in.
Here's a question: what's better, the north or the south?
Depends what you want to catch.
South coast.
Yeah, you've answered it. Go on. You have to pick. You've got to pick one: north or south.
Me personally, it would be south coast. Yeah,
it would. Do you think everyone would pick the south?
No, I think the north boys would pick the north.
No, you don't think they'd rather travel to the south? That's what I'm trying to work out.
I can't speak as highly about this because I'm not doing the sort of lure fishing that he's doing. A lot of my lure fishing comes from. I spend a lot of time down on the Isles of Scilly. And I'm slinging super heavy plastics with the lightest rod that I can get to go and target wrasse in pollock off the rocks. I do not do anywhere near the sort of fishing that him and Tricky are doing. I'm more on my boat. I'm going to do tuna fishing and that sort of stuff. So he can talk about this a lot. I'm just going to say south coast.
For me personally, just because of the way that the land is, that the south, we said it earlier on about that you've got all these little places you can hide. Whereas sometimes those big storms where you were at Bude yesterday, that's big open coast, Atlantic facing. When the shit hits the fan there, nowhere to hide. Yeah. On our south coast side, you've always got somewhere you can get in, whether it be a creek, little headlands at base, where you always will have somewhere. And I just
makes it a bit more fishable all year round.
Yeah. It can be blowing a hoolie out there, but in Tall Bay, you go and look at the bay, you look like a mill pond out there.
Yeah.
Because we're sheltered by Berry Head, so you can tuck yourself up somewhere. You could even get the boat out and tuck yourself into a corner and still go fishing. It's a wild coast, that north coast. It's a completely different fish. Rugged, wild.
Once it blows out,
fishery.
it's done. Whereas you've got the Bristol Channel dumping in loads of mud. You've got all sorts of shit kicking off. Whereas the south coast
is getting in your way.
The south coast, you've got those little crannies. It tends to be slightly. It's not big, shallow storm beaches to pick sediment up. It can be deeper shingle or rocks, so it takes a lot more for it to really right off down here. Whereas up there, sometimes you only got to get a day of wind on it and it's fucked. Whereas down here, whether you bass, wrasse, where you pollocking, there's always something. And if shit comes to shovel, you're LRFing in the harbours if you absolutely needed to. Whereas the north coast, sometimes if that's out,
you're not out fishing. Yeah. We even see yesterday. I can't even think I've ever seen anything like it in my life. Ollie pointed it out. He's so observant. We're driving along, and there was this hedgerow. The fucking trees, they're
all bent like that way.
Yeah. They weren't the like prevailing wind.
It's not blown over. They've grown in that direction.
Proper trees, mate, and they were literally. You weren't exaggerating. They were like that, man.
They've grown
from like that.
They've been
just because of the prevailing winds.
And the whole hedgerow was.
You don't see that so much on our coast. You see it up on the moors. If you head up onto Dartmoor, you'll see that. But as soon as you get up over on that north coast, they're all like that, aren't they? They're all They've just taken hammering.
Very different ground.
Hammering.
Very, very different ground. And equally, I mean, where you were yesterday, when it's right, from Bude up to sort of like Heartland Point,
some amazing fishing.
Bassing is fucking insane up there, but it's like a seesaw. Very quickly switches the other way, Whereas down here you have a much more of a time scale to play around with it, where you can always find something to get into. If it's bad down here, it's bad,
I was fishing the basin in Bude when it blew up one night. And my mate, I've got no door on my bivvy. I have no ground sheet, I've got no door. And my mate's ringing me. He goes, "Are you all right?" It was blowing so hard. It was hitting the edge of the basin, and it was coming in my bivvy. It was coming inside. I had to unplug the bivvy, turn it around, and put it against the road to keep myself dry.
Mad.
And when we started down there, it was all right. We knew it was going to be blowing up. And the next thing, there's just these waves going up the basin. It just howls it.
We could see actually the mark that we fished yesterday. I pointed it out, all of the seaweed, like quite a long way up the cliff, where it had actually obviously
big tide in a big weather, and it's
being blown off the top of the waves up the cliff.
Yeah.
I'm sure we're still on big tides.
No, shit today, man.
Oh, is it? We come off of it already?
Yeah.
Sorry, what does that mean?
It means racid soon.
Racid, yeah. But what does it mean? Big tide, little tide? Oh, it's a medium tide.
Yeah, but this is like going to moon phase with carp fishing.
And I never
New
went there
moon, full
either.
moon. You just go fishing when you can go fishing.
Well, this is the conclusion I've drawn.
So that's the boy. So that's Sam Kiddie, who's got Sidewinder. That's Berry Head in the background. So he's just over here on the side of
Yeah, that
Torquay.
looks really calm.
Yeah, it don't matter. I don't care. Ain't gonna do it. But if you wanted to, that's just Meadfoot. When we go over to there in a minute and get you some gear, from where you're going to be, it's a 10-minute drive down onto Meadfoot and down on the rocks off of there. Because we got
to get a RAS.
Yeah.
We're only going to
get a
RAS
RAS.
market.
Yeah, I'll pin you the places where you're going to get some smoking ground and get some.
right. Let's go do it then. Should we go and get you some kit? Should we go and get you loaded out with some black eels?
Let's tie it up then. I mean, it's been a pleasure.
Have we actually talked about anything?
We talked about it loads. I've been enjoying all of it, mate.
Pub chat, mate. It's just chatting shit about fishing, and
We can have a real technical one if you want, and we can start talking about multi-rigs and how you counterbalance this and how you do that. That's not what we want to do. We just want to sit here and talk, banter about anything to do with fishing. It's just where the conversation goes. But I know you boys want to go fishing, so I don't want to keep you here too
If you've got
long.
any other questions, hit us.
Not really. Let's go fishing. Yeah. Let's get you boys out fishing.
Other guys in different. We've had it all. We've had course anglers. We've had boat anglers. We've had Dave Lewis that travels a lot. We've had other carpers. We've had you guys come in. We set out to be an industry podcast. No particular one direction in that. If you're in fishing industry or you are, like I say, sponsored angler, the companies, we just want to hear that story, because behind every single aspect of that, there's fucking characters like you
fishing,
guys
but it's all
that have got a
fishing.
story to
There's
tell.
all these boys.
And everyone, we all know, we see the magazine articles, we see the YouTube videos, we see this, but behind all of that, we are generally just normal guys that like to go fishing. And we've summed up here today. We're just fishermen that like to go fishing, and anyone, it doesn't matter. The tuna anglers can relate to you guys. The carp guys can relate to the bass guys. You'd like to hope, and
You have to remember, I said it a minute ago, we all stick hooks in fish for fun. Once you start getting a bit pious about this and that, you're setting yourself apart. We're all the same, we
all just buzz off of fishing.
Yeah.
Absolutely buzz off of it.
But yeah, I can't thank you enough.
Pleasure.
Thank you, lads.
This is one of those things when back when I was watching your stuff.
Stop it.
No, but I would do. I'd be watching your stuff, and I'd drive down the tackle shop and be like, "Fucking Alan's down there and Ollie's down there." I'd be like watching their stuff, and then I've got you sat in my fucking studio. That's just.
You made it happen, didn't you?
Well, you made it. I'm a big believer in that. You put it out there, the universe will throw it back. What's that? Why can't I forget?
That he made it happen.
Yep.
Come on, let's go. I've never said how happy. Yeah. I'm just happy you're here, but well done, mate. I'll give you that one.
Boys,
Cheers, lads. Thank you very
thank
much.
you so much, man. It's been a pleasure.
I really look forward to
Danny.
this. Well, you kind of owe us now. We're coming back again to go fishing.
Mate, you have an open ticket whenever you want. You just bail me. I'll make it happen. 24 hours notice, 6 hours notice, 2. Just bail me. You're coming down the M5.
When it's
we'll
good,
make it
we'll come
happen.
in.
Yeah, we'll make it happen.
Thank you.
I'll just ping you what.
And it'll work for all of us.
It can absolutely. It's a scratch back. You'll get the best photos in the world. Let me tell you, going.
I just want to take you fishing. I'm not even. I don't even care if it was off camera, no media, no
Take you the best
nothing.
pictures you've ever had.
There you go.
I really appreciate that. But on the same suit, if you just wanted to come down and go fishing, it was no media. I don't care. I just want to go
What even
fishing.
is it anymore?
Yeah, exactly.
It's just living.
It's a lifestyle. It's a lifestyle. Right, let's go live some more. Let's go fishing.
Thanks, Eric.
Don't forget to like, subscribe, follow the social media.
Or just go fishing.